Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know I was late. Oh my
Whew.
God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know I was late. Oh my
Whew.
God, I'm so
I went
sorry. I
off to
didn't
the
even
other
know I was
room
late.
to,
Oh my God, I'm so
pigeon,
sorry. I didn't even know I was late. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know I was late. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know I was late. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know I was late. Oh God, why is the Twitch window open? Shut up. Jesus Christ. I thought I closed that. Well, now we know. Anyway, I went off to go pet Pigeon for a little bit, and I just pet Pigeon. You know, she's very cute. She's all bundled up in a little blanket, you know, and I papped her, and she rolled around. Good baby. I am so tired right now, guys. Oh my God, I still feel sick. I'm sorry. We're gonna cover what we can today, okay? Will you cover the Kyle Kalinske segment on Jimmy Dore? Ooh, I haven't actually seen it. How spicy is it? Kyle Kalinske doesn't drama monger that hard, I don't think. Kyle addresses Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate versus TYT. 34 minutes. Oh my God. I don't know if I can react to this, guys, with how often I pause in the middle of videos.
So this segment is being recorded
We're going to watch for a little bit, okay? We're going to find out.
pretty late at night. I actually didn't have the time to prep a normal show for you all. I was gonna prep a normal show for you all, but then a giant wrench got thrown into those plans because there was a little bit of Twitter drama that unfolded. There were some passive-aggressive shots that were taken at me. I didn't take kindly to that. And so now I feel like my hand is being forced, and I have to weigh in on an issue that I don't want to weigh in on. So I'm a little cranky. I'm a little tired. I don't really want to be doing this segment, but now I feel like I have to do this segment. Because of the timing of all this, it has fucked up the potential for a normal show tomorrow, which is a shame because I'm going to have to hop in my car and go to DC, and I don't have enough time to prep and do a show and get all that stuff taken care of. But anyway, enough on the backstory and the current situation. Let's dive into it. So obviously I'm going to talk here about the drama between Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate versus the Young Turks. So I just want to reiterate, I don't want to do this segment. I don't want to talk about it. I've bent over backwards to stay out of this fight. Now, some of you might not like that. I don't care. I don't care. I'll never hide a single thing from any of you when it comes to policy. But when it comes to personal shit, I don't want to get involved in it, and I want to stay out of it. And that's always how I've been. That's always how I will be. I'm an introvert. I hate drama. This is some fucking drama shit, and I want nothing to do with it. So, the reasons why I want nothing...
The problem with stuff like this, and I don't think Kyle's listening to me, but I'll say it as though he is anyway. The problem with stuff like this is that you need to address people like Jimmy Dore, because Jimmy Dore is a fucking cancer. People like Jimmy Dore infect other communities by exploiting agreeable rhetoric and leading people down incredibly fucked roads, normatively. You can get, they'll get you on things that sound agreeable, like wanting Medicare for all and stuff, but then when you peel away like the layers of rhetoric and optics, you realize all they're really doing is using those positions as leverage to get you on board with what they actually care about. Now, Jimmy Dore will compromise on Medicare for all. When Tulsi Gabbard dropped her support for Medicare for all, Jimmy Dore was rushing to defend her. And Jimmy Dore will also drop his anti-war positions because Jimmy Dore is consistently in favor of the incorrect narrative that the Democratic and the Republican parties are equal. No. Jimmy Dore hasn't just said that the Democrat and the Republican parties are equally warmongering. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Dore said that Trump is less warmongering than his potential counterpart could have been. So he'll drop these positions if he needs to. His only real position is anti-liberal. And unfortunately, there are a lot of really odious ideologies that are anti-liberal, so that's not necessarily something good. You need to address drama like this, because if you don't, like, Jimmy Dore fans are going to infect your community. And Kyle, you've done a ton of good, but you do have a lot of people in your community who are very ideologically unorthodox, for lack of a better term. It's one of the reasons why I've always made the argument. Hold on, I'm going to open the window because it's cold. Or because it's hot. It's one of the reasons why I've always made the argument. Never mind, a neighbor is cutting their grass. It's one of the reasons why I've made the argument. It's not enough to criticize things you don't like. You have to make affirmative arguments for the things that you do like. Because if all you do is criticize, it's really easy for people who hate the same things as you for different reasons to jump on board. Now, Kyle makes plenty of affirmative positions here, but in this case, the affirmative position would be taking a stand against the type of shit that Jimmy Dore says and does. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, let's listen for a bit. Anyway, like Jimmy Dore's, yeah. Sheesh.
Nothing to do with this. Number one, it's obvious. Jimmy, Cenk, and Anna are all personal friends of mine. So it puts me in a really weird place. Now, you can pretend like that's not a good reason, but you all know it's a good reason, and you all know if you were in my shoes, you'd feel the exact same way. But the second reason is probably the more important reason, which is it's ugly and it's personal, which is all the more reason for me to stay out of this. And by the way, I should also add, I'm speaking on behalf of Crystal as well here, because she also has desperately wanted to try to stay out of this.
Also, if it's like personal drama, why did Jimmy Dore call you out over nothing? You know? Like, that's another question, right? If you're friends with Jimmy, then, like, why did he spark drama with you over literally nothing, you know? Why, like, as far as I can tell, didn't he accuse you of, like, saying something about, like, the Syria bombing, like, you being pro-Syria bombing or something? This is a highly implausible criticism. It doesn't seem like one that could be made, like, yeah, this one right here, it doesn't seem like it could be made in good faith, you know? Is there anything in the comments here mentioning Jimmy Dore? I don't know.
But clearly I can't. She's somehow managed to still not have to really dive into it, at least as much as I'm about to right now. All right, so we're going to break this down. Everybody understand, and please, for the love of God, listen to every word that I'm going to say here. Don't listen to parts of it and then get triggered and then shut it off and fucking freak out or whatever. He's not on my team, and he fucking tweeted him. I'm not going to read your shit. Everybody calm the fuck down. There are two separate conversations we're going to have here. There are policy conversations and there's personal conversations. Two separate ones. It's not all the same. It's not all the same. There's policy stuff and there's personal stuff. Saying that up front. So I'm only weighing in here because I've been dragged in. I have to give you my take now on every little aspect of this. And so that's what we have to do. Let's bring the timeline back. It wasn't always like this between Jimmy and TYT. You don't believe me? Take a look.
Lo and behold, the Young Turks opened up their door to me and I walked in. And we've been working together ever since. And I remember Steve-O was there, and I met Anna that first time, and JR. And it was, I was so, it was such a fun place to be. And so I was real thrilled and flattered that they invited me to be part of their group. And one of the funnest times of my life was the Bernie Sanders campaign. And so I just want to thank Cenk Uygur and everybody at TYT for including me. I've been blessed with good people in my career. And, it was a real stroke of luck that I was able to work with the Young Turks and Cenk Uygur.
Yeah. He doesn't have any principles. That's the problem. And now he's bragging about sexually harassing women at that workplace. Like, yeah, that you'll find this is a consistent theme. Yeah, he'll do or say or agree with anything that benefits him at the time, and then he'll jump off of it.
So good luck to them going forward. And again, I hope we can come together and work on something in the future.
All right, so Jimmy Dore has exited the building, and I think that a lot of you probably have seen his video talking about that. And he used to host Progressive, this show, along with the Jimmy Dore show. And so first thing I'd like to say is, I love Jimmy Dore, and I always have, and I hope that I always will. And so it's.
Dude, how many pieces of shit have come out of the Young Turks? Like actual wait, how many? Wait, can we count them? How many people have come from this institution that have turned out to be just miserable? Michael Tracy, Dave Rubin, Jimmy Dore. Oh god, I actually forgot about Michael Tracy. Hassan, the worst of them all. Yeah, I wonder sometimes, man.
Certainly not anything personal at all. And we had wonderful, wonderful moments on air with Jimmy throughout a great number of years here at the Young Turks.
That is what I call a love fest. That is what I call people who have deep admiration and respect for each other.
When are those clips from, though?
That wasn't that long ago. That wasn't that long ago. So since then, I don't want to paint an overly rosy picture. Of course there have been disagreements. There have been deep disagreements about Syria and Russia and force the vote and other things. But at that time, we were sort of at the peak of Russiagate. And I know...
Also, I'm not trying to stir anything, but does anyone else think it's a little bit weird to paint the narrative that Jimmy Dore was liked at the Young Turks by providing clips of positive affirmation from a time that was almost certainly after he harassed Anna Kasparian. You know? Like, I doubt they could find a clip of Anna saying that she loved working with Jimmy Dore at this point in time, you know? Or from the point in time those clips were taken from.
because I know all these people personally, that the Russiagate thing bothered Jimmy just as much off air as it did on air. He felt like it sort of ruined friendships, and he couldn't believe that there were people who were falling for that bullshit. And so the more TYT would cover it, the more angry he would get. And then what would happen is Jimmy would go on air and do his show, and he would never like directly or overtly call out the Young Turks at that time, but there would be like little pot shots here and there about how, other lefty shows are not, telling you the truth about this Russiagate thing. And so that went on for a long time. I think at some point, eventually, somebody at TYT caught wind of the fact that Jimmy was taking shots at them. And, that led Anna to go on Twitter and basically say something along the lines of, I think Jimmy's a grifter and I don't think he's an honest actor.
True.
I don't agree with Anna on that. She said that.
Yeah.
It was fucked up. But as soon as I read that tweet, I said, uh-oh, here we go.
Wait, hold on. Why was it fucked up? Okay, hold on. The choice of wording here is important to me, because usually when you accuse somebody of saying something fucked up, you're not saying that it's wrong, you're saying that it's like morally wrong to even point out. Does that make sense? Like it's not fucked up to accuse a person of a political position. It's more like it's fucked up to like tell a friend they're like super ugly or something. I don't know. This seems like Jimmy Dore being defended by Kyle Kulinski more out of personal affiliation than out of like Kyle really disagreeing with the accusation. Yeah, it's like she crossed a line, Not that her argument was bad or that her point's incorrect, but like you can't say that, That's a boundary you can't cross.
So this shit is about to get nuclear because Jimmy Dore has one gear and that gear is nuclear. And I was exactly right. So Jimmy sort of went nuclear a little bit there. Now, it didn't really get like irreparable until Force the Vote. That's when it became irreparable. Now, to this point, on the substance, I'm with Jimmy so far. So when it comes to...
Bosch, haven't you said grifter is kind of an unfalsifiable claim? In some instances, I'm comfortable with it. Jimmy Dore is honestly one of the few people. Jimmy Dore and Candace Owens are some of the few people where I'm actually comfortable with it. Because Jimmy Dore, legitimately, like, his principles are just fluctuate. It's a wavelength. And maybe I don't watch Dave Rubin that much, so I don't actually know. I'm sure Dave Rubin would also fit. Define grifter, a person who only like holds or expresses a given position for personal gain. They don't actually believe it. The clearest evidence of Jimmy Dore being a grifter is that Jimmy Dore has been one of the most aggressive advocates for Medicare for All, or he was for a long time. It wasn't just that Jimmy Dore was pro-Medicare for All, because I think we all are here. It's that Jimmy Dore was saying, if you're not pro-Medicare for All, you are scum. You're not even a progressive. You're not even worth being a part of this political bloc, And then Tulsi Gabbard, who he simped for so hard because she would come on his show, said that she was no longer supporting Medicare for All. And Jimmy Dore, not only did Jimmy Dore not push back, Jimmy Dore actually made excuses for her before she said anything. She said, yeah, I'm backing off Medicare for All. And he was like, oh, well, of course, because you need to win them over with the smaller concessions first before you. It was insane. He never said that with anyone else. He never would have said that for anyone else. But Tulsi comes on and he does it. It wasn't just like a small compromise made for a political candidate you support. It was a fundamental betrayal of his rhetoric and his principles because he had someone on his show that he liked. Not to mention he does so much shit for personal gain. Remember during the Force the Vote stuff where he performatively invited Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to one of his Force the Vote panels? He even had like the guest panel like format thing like for AOC, as if AOC, a sitting congresswoman and one of the most powerful people in the country in terms of political image, was going to come on a show. And then when she didn't show up, he screamed for minutes. He did a whole rant about it and accused her of no longer being willing to listen to the people because she wouldn't come on his show. I want you to imagine how unhinged a person... Can you imagine if I invited, like, Bernie Sanders to a stream? Just send an email, and then he didn't show up, and then I went on a several minutes long rant about how he's betrayed the people. Like, it's insane. It's actually insane. It actually is some cuckoo banana mental. Do we have, wait, can I find a clip of that? Because, hold on. Jimmy Dore, hold on. Can I get, Jimmy Dore says AOC betray, no, it was, won't listen to the people. Could I, is it possible to get a clip on that? Oh, you have a clip ready? Oh my God, is this it? Oh. Wait, I don't know if this is it because the one that I remember was from Jimmy being on a panel. Like other people were uncomfortably sitting there while he ranted, but still.
That's what this is. And this is to keep you from healthcare. That's what this is. This is to keep you from healthcare because she's a gutless wonder who will not do what she promised. And you don't get her to do what you want her to do by being fucking nice to her. You get her to do what she's supposed to do by ripping her to shreds, which is what I'm doing right fucking now because she has it coming. And it's not just her. They all do. She's the only one engaging on Twitter, which is why she's getting it. What it takes is courage from gutless wonders like you, AOC, you fucking phony. And you're revealing yourself. And I am just writing it down. We are you're doing it. And we're marking it.
So again, I don't want to get too deep in the armchair analysis thing, but like when I see this, I don't think like politics. I just think he's mentally ill. Like that's the vibe that I get from it. I don't know how Kyle can look at this and think like, oh yeah, this is sane. this is fine. That's just the feeling I get, you know? I don't know, whatever. If anyone can find that bit of him on the Force the Vote panel screaming about AOC not being there, I would love to see it so much because I can't find it on my other monitor.
To Syria, when it comes to Russia, when it comes to Russiagate, when it comes to Force the Vote, none of this is a secret. You guys have seen all my fucking segments. You know where I fall on those policy issues. It's the most obvious thing in the world. But now we get to this new round where the war...
Wait, is it where he screamed at his own guests? Yeah.
...has ramped up, and it really is a war now. So this recent round all started with... this video from the Young Turks talking about Aaron Mate in their postgame.
They said Aaron Mate yelled at me. And so
Aaron Mate, Aaron Mate. Everyone cares what Aaron Mate has to say, right? The guy who denies that Syrian children were killed with chemical attacks. Yeah.
And
fuck Aaron Mate. Yeah, fuck you. Anyway, let's move on. Let's end the freaking pod. I can't.
Okay, see, that's what happened.
I can't stand that guy, and I can't stand the very intentional disinformation they put out there in regard to disgusting dictators around the world. The very people they seem to be working for, to be quite honest with you. Let's move on.
All right, we're done.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
So let's state the obvious. That was gross. That was a smear. It's so absurd that the first time I watched it, I literally laughed out loud.
Wait.
I laughed out loud. Cenk was just mad that Aaron responded to one of his tweets on Israel and Palestine where Cenk said something about sky gods and Aaron.
Wait, how is it wait, am I wrong? Hasn't Aaron Mate literally simped for Assad and denied the chemical weapon attacks? Am I not? Isn't that completely correct? I'm pretty sure I remember Aaron Mate saying that. They love mate. I don't know why. Guys, we need to we need to normalize something, okay? Here's the new rule, all right? Simping for Assad, all right, should be as cringe as simping for Reagan, okay? I swear to God, there are some people online who legitimately believe that you're instantly more lefty because you're simping for scumfuck dictators just because they don't support American geopolitical interests, okay? Holy shit, all right? Aaron Mate would have been one of those people back during World War II who would have advocated isolationism, and when people condemned Nazi Germany, he would have obfuscated the conversation by pointing out American genocide in the past. These people add nothing to the discourse. They're worthless conversationally, okay? Vanguard / Darn Gray Zone love Mate, say they know that Assad didn't gas people. Yeah. And by the way, all of this coincides perfectly with all this shit between Tulsi Gabbard and Modi and the Assad and all this. Guys, they're just authoritarians who simp for a different set of geopolitical interests. It's that simple. I don't know why this is complicated to people, okay? America is not the only geopolitical hegemony in the world. There's China and there's Russia, too. Those are the big ones, and Russia has its own set of principles, and China has its own set of principles, and they all have different groups of dictators who they'll irrationally defend because doing so supports their geopolitical interests. And yeah, I just don't know. I don't know why it makes you so special that you've chosen another big block, okay? The really revolutionary language is to reject all of the political hegemony and to try to support whichever actor in whichever region is legitimately doing the best for their people. Aren't we against the US primarily? No, we're against the worst thing that's happening. Whatever it is. We're not against the US specifically. Why would we be? What if the US's geopolitical interests in a region are preferable to the other geopolitical interests in the region? Vosh, Russia's GDP is only a little bigger than Italy. They're not powerful enough to be on the tier. Russia's GDP is terrible, but their intelligence agencies, their influence is insanely high relative to the size of their economy. Yeah, their regional influence is huge for a bunch of really complicated reasons that, to be perfectly honest, I don't fully understand. But yeah, they do have a lot of power. Oh, here it is. Oh, no. Wait, is this it? Hold on. I'm getting flashbacks.
Accountable to anyone. I get 10 to 12 million views a month, and they won't come on and address my progressive audience. They won't come on and address Bree's audience or Katie's audience or Justin Jackson or you. They are not accountable to us. They are accountable to whoever the fuck themselves. Let's not kid ourselves. As Chris Hedges taught us a long time ago, the people attracted to politics are the most mediocre of people. They're not your friends. They are elected servants, and start fucking treating them that way.
I hear Brownie is seconding you in the background.
They're not your fucking friends.
Look at that. She tries to turn down the tension by making a joke about his dog, and he just keeps going like a crazy old man.
Is seconding you in the background.
They're not your fucking friends. They're the people standing in between us and fucking healthcare. They're putting their fucking personal position ahead of that. Don't fucking forget that.
Who are you talking about with that, Jimmy?
I'm talking about anybody who's a progressive in Congress who isn't endorsing #TheVote. All those motherfuckers who didn't show up today at our town hall. Every fucking one.
All the politicians who didn't show up at my YouTube show town hall.
One of them is selling you out and canceling you for their own personal gain.
Kyle, is this really a guy you want to defend? If there was a Kyle Kulinski who was, like, once redeemable or worthwhile to the political sphere, he is long fucking dead. Okay? This guy is fucking crazy. This guy is crazy. Wait, did I say the wrong name? No, wait, I was talking to Kyle. No, I said, like, Kyle, is this the guy you want to defend? Oh, did I say a redeemable Kyle? Oh, wait, no, okay, hold on. Let's try that one again, okay? Sheesh. Anyway, Kyle, is this the Jimmy, like, the Jimmy that you knew? I don't know, man. You gotta keep in mind, like, look, I don't have a problem with, like, angry people passionately advocating for what they want, but Jimmy is clearly not doing that here. This is a very disingenuous ploy to galvanize his audience around a ridiculous and egocentric standard of, like, political participation. That politicians who don't come on my show are betraying the people? Jesus. Proof in case Dor Sims tried to deny that Mate denies Syrian chemical attacks. Uh-oh.
Honored to be here once again. I really appreciate the opportunity. So it has been 3 years since the alleged chemical attack in Duma, and nearly 2 years since the cover-up of the OPCW investigation.
Dor's third party admitted they just wanted to get people to not believe in the Democratic Party. What third party? Who are you referring to there?
Into Duma was exposed, but yet all this time later, nothing has been done to address the serious flaws in this investigation. So what I want to do today is go through some of the few arguments that have been made by the OPCW and other state parties in trying to justify why they refused to meet with the inspectors, the original inspectors who challenged the cover-up of their probe, and why they refused to investigate any of the scientific fraud that was alleged. So again, what are the basic details of this incident? April 7th, 2018, something horrible happens in Duma. Dead bodies are filmed inside of a building. The US, Britain, and France a few days later.
By the way, I'm pretty sure he's a guest of the Russian government during this meeting, Vosh. Wait, Dylan, is that true? Who's this guy? Wait, permanent mission of the Russian Federation of the United Nations. Are you fucking kidding me? Mate is literally speaking to Russian delegates while defending the... Oh my god. Okay. All right, thank you, Dylan, for pointing that out, because I was still getting the audio to work when that guy flashed on. I didn't know if that was a left-in frame or something. Jesus Christ. Guys, I don't care. Okay, we just need a new standard, okay? I don't care if making this accusation makes people think that I'm like a Russiagate lib or whatever, but if every single one of a leftist's political positions can be explained by them working for, like, the Russian government, then I don't know. I don't think they're very defensible, okay? I'm just saying, like, if we're going down a checklist and it's like, well, why do they do all these things? So it's, well, they could have an incredibly complicated, like, very hypocritical, very unprincipled, and very ineffective set of contradicting positions that just, or, you know, this. I don't actually think they're working for the Russian government. I just think they're simping for different interests, you know? Like, keep in mind, there are plenty of neo-Nazis online who aren't getting paid by some, like, weird eugenics fund or anything like that, you know? There are OPCW whistleblowers who said the OPCW report was manipulated and faked after it didn't find they were guilty of it. So there is a lot of contention on that subject. The problem is that the overwhelming confluence of evidence that I have seen has supported the idea that there were chemical weapon attacks. And the people that are pushing those ideas aren't just like state actors, but it seems like really reputable sources who are who've investigated the evidence way better than I have. And the issue is, like, every single major historical atrocity has had whistleblowers leaking fake documents, you know? If you really go down the weeds on Stormfront, you can find hundreds of pages of credible counter-evidence to the existence of the Holocaust. But you need to examine the evidence in its totality, because if you just grab on to any little bit of contradicting evidence, then, yeah. Unpublished OPCW Duma correspondence casts further doubt on claims of doctored report. It has been reported that the final version of the letter, the draft version of Bellingcat. Yeah, I have to I have to defer to like the overwhelming evidence on this one. All right, anyway. So Kyle's a lunatic. Wait, no! Damn it! Jimmy's a lunatic. I was gonna say Jimmy's a lunatic. Let's get back to Kyle. God damn it. I need to exclusively talk about people that I completely despise, so it doesn't matter when I transpose their names.
Dunked on him, but everybody dunked on Cenk for that tweet. Hassan Piker, his nephew, dunked on him for that tweet. Cenk took it personally that Aaron went after him on that tweet, and so I think that's what led to this segment, or this portion of the postgame. But yeah, there's no excuse for this. This is ridiculous. Of course, Aaron Mate is not paid by dictators or paid by the Russians. He's a great journalist who's on.
Wait, look at how many fucking chemical attacks would have needed to be faked for this to be an American plot. Yeah, the funny thing to me is that, like, does anyone here think it's, like, out of character for Assad to do something like this? Like, if you've read anything about Assad, the idea, like, oh, do you really think Assad would do, like, illegal chemical weapon attacks in his population? Dude, he's such a humanitarian guy. Bro, that's crazy. Sheesh. I'm high, so every time you switch their names, I have a fucking panic attack. I'm sorry, I don't do it on purpose. He admitted to dropping barrel bombs live on RT Lamau. Yeah, well, it's about the chemical weapon attacks, right? Because that would be, that's a specific violation of, like, because those are banned by the Geneva Convention, so that's the one that, they get the toastiest about.
A lot of great work. So what do I think of that? Of course, I think of that the exact same thing that all of you fucking knew I thought of it, which is like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And also, let me say, I get McCarthy smeared all the time. Anybody who took the position that I took on Russiagate gets McCarthy smeared all the time. I literally debated Cenk on the issue of Russiagate. one of the many reasons I stopped
By the way, Russiagate ended up being completely true. Sorry, but the facts completely proved it. There were bipartisan Senate investigations. Yep, it's completely true. Russian intelligence agencies did spend money to manipulate information. They always do this back and forth like, well, did Russia manipulate the votes directly? No, that wasn't the claim. The reputable claim from the beginning was that Russia had a stake in Trump winning the election and in delegitimizing people's faith in American democracy. So they... Vosh proof. There's literally senatorial reports on this that you can find. They're open, they were bipartisan, and they're incredibly extensive. They took years to complete. It is so unbelievably and thoroughly proven that you're not getting around it, okay? Yeah. There's tons of evidence on this. And again, why... Guys, hot question. Why wouldn't they? America interferes in other countries' elections. Why would Russia not try to interfere in ours? Why is that so surprising? They're another nation state with a different set of geopolitical interests. Why do people think America is the only country that does bad shit? Vosh, did it actually affect the outcome of the election, though? That is much harder to prove. The argument is that Russia is making an effort to undermine the legitimacy of our elections by spreading disinfo through our social media and by, essentially OPSECing the fuck out of our, not OPSECing, psyoping the fuck out of our, political discourse.
Stopped reading my Twitter mentions is because I would get McCarthy smeared. So listen, Aaron is upset that...
And Kyle, you're just wrong on this. It doesn't make a person a McCarthyite to point out the objectively true fact that Russia did attempt to interfere with our elections and did spend money and did use their intelligence agencies to interfere with this. Okay? That's not... Yeah. Vosh, Russiagate was with Trump colluding with them, not just Russia doing it. Nah, the majority of the claims that I heard around Russiagate were around Russia's intel agencies interfering with the American election. The extent to which Trump colluded with them was the subject of the Mueller report, was it not? Which found that while there were a highly suspicious number of interactions between Trump's election team and the Russian government, that there was nothing directly connecting Trump to it. So he got off. Whereas the Mueller report did produce a significant number of arrests and indictments for people in his administration. Is that... Jenk's claims weren't that, though? Okay, then maybe Cenk was more Libby. Okay? Cenk said they colluded? Okay, then maybe Cenk was more Libby. All right.
Crystal Ball and I haven't commented on this until now. And listen, again, for the record, he's a victim in this. He didn't do anything wrong. He's minding his business. He's a lovely dude, and then he gets this from TYT. It's super fucked up. In my defense and in Crystal's defense, the reason why we didn't say anything about this is because we thought it's fucking obvious, of course. Of course they look ridiculous in this. And I don't think they're convincing many people, bringing many people to their side with stuff like that. Right? Wouldn't you agree? And then also, listen, when I got into my, scandal about my old tweets when Mike Cernovich dug them up and wrote an article calling me a sexist and a racist and all the negative things in the book, nobody defended me. And listen, I'm totally fine with that.
Whoa, hold on. Twitter loves your old tweets, Kyle Kulinski. Don't you play victim on me, okay? We all simp for old Twitter. Old Kulinski Twitter, okay? We stand by you, okay? You're a posting king, a warrior, all right? And we will never, ever, ever let them take you down.
I never held a grudge over it. I never thought, like, how dare, all my friends in lefty circles not come out of the woodworks and, put their neck on the line for me. I just thought, listen, this is par for the course. I don't expect everybody to come. I'm not entitled to other people going out there and responding for me. I just thought, hey, it is what it is. This isn't high school. We don't have cliques. People can think whatever they want to think, and I'll handle it on my own.
Wait, this is still high school. Wait, hold on. Being a YouTuber is absolutely still high school, and I hate it, okay? Just in case anyone wants to get in the game, okay?
So when it came to that article that Nathan J. Robinson wrote not that long ago, where he basically argued that she's emboldening Nazism because she does a show with Sagar, who's populist right, and populist right is like what the Nazis were, so therefore you're being like too soft on the right and too soft on Tucker Carlson, and you're basically like emboldening Nazis and stuff.
Sagar is definitely a fascist. Yeah, going easy on Sagar's positions is definitely like pretty suspect.
It was a silly article. I don't think Nathan's arguments were very good, but Crystal fucking hated that shit. She read it and she's like, fuck this shit, and nobody defended her. So, I don't think she cares. She was upset by the article, but she's not mad at other lefties for not like immediately coming out there and responding, because it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. We all go through this shit online. People always say shit about us, and we can all have our positions on it, but it's not like, we're the Justice League rushing to everybody's defense at every moment. I watch this stuff unfold like everybody else watches it unfold, and sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, well, that's dumb, and I move along. I don't, do a whole monologue or whatever over it. So anyway, listen, I'm not trying to make an excuse. What happened to Aaron was wrong. But I think that's so obvious that I'm like, really? You need me to say it? Like, you don't know what my position already is on Russiagate? You don't know what the things I've said on Russia? You don't know the things I've said on Syria? Like, I'm fucking 100% in alignment with Aaron on all those things. Would I agree with him on all that and then turn around and be like, I think TYT...
This is the thing that really gets me, though. What's interesting to me is that all of the drama points that are being discussed right now are ones which don't actually have anything to do with the material conditions of the working class in this country. It's interesting where these fractures fall upon. Like, Assad chemical weaponing his population, like Russiagate. It's weird because when you think about it, like, it feels like these lines keep getting drawn on like these esoteric foreign policy topics that always seem to find fissures at the borders between US and Russian geopolitical interests, you know? Yeah, Dylan, foreign policy stuff is difficult. I understand that. It's hard to transpose strong principles that you hold in American politics abroad, especially since Jimmy Dore literally spoke on Medicare, fuck me, Vosh, you're thick. Yeah, he spoke on Medicare for all, and then Tulsi Gabbard came on, and wait, can somebody find me Tulsi Gabbard on Jimmy Dore's show when he instantly dropped Medicare for all? Please, 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 please. That's the last clip we need of Jimmy Dore today, okay? We need the one, and I want you to keep in mind while looking at that this is the same screaming lunatic who said that everyone else had betrayed the progressive movement because they weren't supporting forced the vote for Medicare for all. Oh, do you have it? Oh!
But people are saying, oh, Tulsi flip-flopped on Medicare for all. Now, you seem to be not wanting to outlaw. You came out with your new single payer plus, but people are saying, oh, Tulsi flip-flopped on Medicare for all. Now, you seem to be not wanting to outlaw private insurance, more like, say, what works in Australia.
That's
so
right.
Now I'm very familiar. I've been to Australia. I know how their system works. So that, to me, is 1,000% improvement. That certainly is still Medicare for all.
This fucking weasel, Medicare for all, specifically bans private insurance. This guy is like, now your new plan, Medicare for all plus, would keep private insurance, kind of like what they got in Australia. Oh, you mean a public option like what Biden has pushed for? But no. No, AOC is abandoning the progressive movement because she didn't come on your show. When Tulsi comes on after backing off Medicare for all, you're like, whoa, actually, dude, the Australians have like great health care, man.
But you still are a firm supporter of Medicare for all. You just have a little bit, and it's not.
The term Medicare for all has become...
Right.
Oh, you're still into it, but like you won't do it, you know, like that's fine by me. Jimmy Dore, am totally okay with progressive officials saying they support something, but then pushing something else that is not as significant for the sake of political efficacy. Ooh.
He's right, and he's paid by fucking Russian dictators. I mean, honestly, it's absurd.
Oh yeah, Biden's not pushing for the public option, by the way, anymore. But he was back during the primaries, and Tulsi Gabbard's wasn't that better than that?
So after that happened, Jimmy and Aaron responded. Oh, make perfect sense. They responded a number of times.
Is there actually something wrong with the public option? Seems good to me. Well, I would like Medicare for all because I'm not a fucking lib, Lavti. But also, it's not about the efficacy of the position. It's the fact that Jimmy Dore is a flaming fucking hypocrite who will do or say anything to consolidate his audience.
Makes perfect sense. Aaron has gone on a number of outlets to respond. He wants to sort of clear his name. I don't blame him for that at all.
Sorry. Wait, it's really dishonest to say he was agreeing with her? Wait, seriously? Jimmy Dore frothing at the mouth, screaming, you're a traitor if you didn't come on my town hall, AOC. But also, Tulsi Gabbard comes on and he not only doesn't criticize her, he's like, oh yeah, that's fine, you still like support Medicare for all, but that's like the system in Australia, that system works good. You fucking kidding me, dude? You're such a fucking Tulsi simp, bro. Go cool out, take a cold shower, jerk off, okay? Chill out, preferably forever. We do not abide by Tulsi simps anymore. We're shoe on head. It's on site with that bitch.
The Young Turks then doubled down and brought on some idiot who parroted the State Department line on Syria. It was really sad to watch. It was like, what are you doing? Don't double down on this. You're so wrong.
Kyle, you can't keep accusing people of being McCarthyites and State Department agents every time they have a different foreign policy take than you, okay? It is not. It's saying that Assad is a horrible dictator who oppresses his population is not a State Department take. Okay? Jesus. Do we still have Dylan Burns in here? I need somebody backing up my corner so I don't say something wrong about foreign policy. Like, Kyle, this is the same intellectual laziness that you would see from people like conservatives claiming everything they don't like. There's critical race theory, or claiming that, like, every progressive policy is communism. Like, you can't do that, okay? The funny thing is, you're actually the one engaging in a McCarthyite strategy here, because anybody engaging in any political rhetoric that you find disagreeable, you're painting them with, like, what's essentially a thought-terminating cliche, you know?
Wrong. You're not even close to right. It was just sad to watch. But then there was another escalation. And the escalation came when this happened.
And I'll tell you this story. The story about that was followed by an apology card you wrote me for degrading harassment. Anna Kasparian used to dress, when I worked there, unbelievably inappropriately for a newsroom. She looked like she was going to a rave. The skirt, one time she came into the newsroom with a skirt so short, it wasn't a...
By the way, keep in mind, this is Jimmy Dore's characterization of the event. Anna Kasparian claims that this had taken place after a number of highly inappropriate comments that Jimmy Dore had made to her. Keep in mind that in his own statement where he describes what took place, Jimmy Dore still comes off like a creepy sexual harasser, so something tells me he's leaving bits of the story out. Anna Kasparian said that he had made plenty of other creepy statements towards her, telling her nice legs, you look sexy in that clothing, etc., and that one of the reasons she particularly despised the public sexual harassment he engaged in here is because he did so while she was bringing a bunch of students through.
Pencil skirt. It was like a fluffy one too, but so short that she bent over in front of me and I literally saw her ass and her thong. She's wearing a thong. I literally saw it. Everybody saw it. And I go, hey, Anna, nice news skirt. And everybody laughed. Like they laughed louder than I thought they would. And so it humiliated her. She got humiliated in the middle of the newsroom, and I did it. And I felt bad. At that time, we were friendly. And I was just busting her balls, right, for dressing like that in the newsroom. You're going to bend over and show me your ass? I think that's a little... I'm not offended, but I think that's a little risque.
And he got hard, you know.
Imagine if I did that, if I walked around showing my ass to everybody. So when I did that, so she got really mad. She got humiliated. Her face turned red. She tried to insult me back, and it just fell flat, and she looked, bad.
Again, notice how even where he's explicitly describing sexual harassment, he still has to play it up like he won the encounter, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, dude, and like everyone laughed so hard. I like felt bad at how hard everyone was laughing from how hard I owned her. She like tried to hit me with an insult afterwards, but it just fell flat, you know?
And I felt bad for her. I didn't fight. I didn't want to make her feel that, but I just wanted to make a little joke. And all I said was, hey, Anna, nice news skirt, and everybody in the newsroom, because everybody saw
he's smiling and bragging.
She used to dress. And everybody saw it. And so that's why I got such a huge laugh, and she was so humiliated. So I felt bad for her. So the next day I wrote her a card saying, hey, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. That was inappropriate. You don't have to worry about that happening again. I won't. Anna Kasparian used to dress, when I worked there, unbelievably inappropriately for a newsroom. She looked like she was going to a rave. One time she came into the newsroom with a skirt so short, and I go, hey, Anna, nice news skirt. Hey, Anna, nice news thong. I just wanted to make a little joke. News skirt. News thong. News skirt. News thong.
Yeah, according to TYT, the group of people he's referring to here was actually a class of students that Anna Kasparian was leading through the studio. And according to TYT, apparently people didn't laugh. By the way, Aaron Mate is an absolute joke. He deleted this tweet after posting it. That does seem reasonable. Asked. That's not what was asked. Joshua started from the premise the Syrian government paid for my trip, then asked me tonight. I paid for my trip. Yes, I have traveled with Syrian government minders to certain areas. That's how it's done here. Wait. Hmm. I can't believe people accuse me of getting paid by the US government. Everyone's getting paid by a government except for me. Seriously. People project so hard. Everyone else, okay? Nothing different than North Korea guided tours. Yeah, it's Assad. Have I ever gone over Assad's, like, Wikipedia article? It's very long. How much of it is dedicated to war crimes? He's done a lot of bad stuff, guys. It's not good. Here's our war crimes section, you know? It's just a standard section in any Wikipedia article, you know, you got your childhood and education, you got your economy, you got your war crimes section. Did he do 9/11? Almost certainly. We'll look at it later.
Comment on your clothes anymore. I should have said no matter how fucking ridiculous.
You mean you'll stop commenting on her thong?
On her thong that I could see. So let's bring in Max now. Max,
Kyle's gonna downplay this.
Yeah, this isn't really where I thought the conversation was going to go. I don't have the same history with these people, so I have no problem with Anna Kasparian's style of dress.
Let's talk to
we don't have a dress code at the Gray Zone. People can show up however they want.
Okay, I don't like the Gray Zone. Max Blumenthal is just waiting in the back room while Jimmy Dore spends several minutes gloating over how he epically owned the woman he sexually harassed in a workplace. And when he finally comes on cam, he's like, I don't want to be associated with this in any way. I just want it to be known. I may be here. I may be on this show right now. You may be able to see my face and hear my voice, but I do not at all agree with what Jimmy Dore just said. Not even slightly. Gray Zone won't reveal their funding. Wait, is that true? Does Gray Zone not disclose where their money comes from? Is that true? Seriously? Oh my god. They say it's only Patreon? They say only Patreon? Does their Patreon... Yes, and their reporters are Russia funded. Well, I'd need evidence of that, you know. The will of the Syrian people. Oh yeah, our famous Assad elections, our blessed democracy. Yes, the dynasty, winning with 99.2% of the vote, 99.9% of the vote, 99.99% of the vote. Dude, to get Hafez al-Assad is getting greedy. You know, he got 99.2, and he thought, really? We're going to let the media believe that 0.8% of the population doesn't want to be ruled by my eternal glory? All right, well, it'll be 99.9% then. And then later he's like, okay, hold on. Seriously? 0.1%? All right, no. 0.01%. And of course, all these people, the 0.01%, they were killed right after, naturally. And then in 1999, 100% of the vote. Finally, okay? At long last, all right? Finally, he finally does it, okay? He finally gets the 100%. Congratulations, you've been working towards it your whole career, you know? And that was his last one. And now Bashar al-Assad, you know, highly democratic society, 99.7. So he'll take some time, but eventually he'll get back up to his dad's record. You know, he'll get back up to 100%. Yeah, better than antibacterial disinfectant. Jesus Christ. Highly democratic society. Even Glenn Greenwald is skeptical of the Gray Zone. Imagine being... The Gray Zone's editor literally works for Russian state media. But wait, does Max Blumenthal work for RT? No! No, he works for Sputnik and RT! Dude, if you work for the Russian government, You're not a leftist, okay? You're not a fucking leftist if you work for the Russian government, okay? Holy shit. Jesus Christ, you can't. These are antithetical. Unironically, I think you have more of a capability of being a leftist working for the fucking US State Department than working for the Russian government, okay? I say that unironically. I genuinely do. I actually think the Russian government is more effective and more brutal in cracking down on left-wing opposition within their own country than America is within our country. I believe that. Yeah, I do. They're very obviously not leftist. They're very obviously fascist. Yeah. What is it with these people? Why do people accuse me of being paid off? Why is it that everyone I dislike gets money from the Russian government? Oh. Okay. Can we move on? They don't make shit from donations. Yeah, wait, how much should they get off their Patreon? Hold on. Patreon Gray Zone. Dog, you're just funded by Patreon? 878 patrons? No fucking way. Not even close. What does that pay for? One plane ticket every 6 months? No shot. Okay? No shot. Wait, what is that? $10 minimum? Let's say it's all like $20 a month. Let's average it out. Okay, if it's $20 a month and that's let's say $17,000 a month for a whole news org. How many people work for the Gray Zone? You ever seen the super anti-Semitic video that Russia Today produced suggesting Hillary Clinton is controlled by Jews because she hired a Jewish person? No. No. I can't keep doing this. Stop.
That Hillary Clinton is the Illuminati's candidate, then just take a look at this logo. That is the logo for a company called The Groundwork. It's a startup funded in part by none other than Eric Schmidt, the chairman of Google's new parent company, Alphabet. The Groundwork is one of Clinton's biggest technology vendors for her campaign. They help her with her data analytics and digital outreach. It's a company from Google's top dog working for one of America's oligarchs, and they chose a freaking triangle with a dot for their logo. You can't make this up. If that isn't enough to make your conspiracy alarms go off.
Remember, Dylan, I wonder if you would agree with this, okay? The most consistent ideological bent for Russia today is destabilizing America. It's not about being right or left wing. It's generally just about getting people to stop believing in their government and to start believing in things that make society like fractured, inharmonious, and divisive. That seems to be like the only thing that RT actually pushes. Because they'll push left or right wing ideas. It basically just seems to be about bringing everyone apart.
Groundwork's parent company is called Timshel, a Hebrew word meaning you may.
Oh no.
Timshel is devoting to helping humanity solve our most difficult social, civic, and humanitarian challenges. The guy who runs The Groundwork, Michael Slavey, said Timshel and The Groundwork are the same project with the same backers. So not only do they have an Illuminati logo, they also have backers who speak Hebrew. The Groundwork is physically tied to Clinton, too, as it started just a few blocks away from Clinton's Brooklyn campaign headquarters. If we learned nothing from the 2012 election, which, we probably didn't, it's that technology can play a big part in how people vote. Some credit technology for at least 50% of Obama's margin of victory. Obama's campaign technologists built complex analytics models and algorithms and databases that all contributed to his victory.
What the fuck is the argument here?
The campaign's analytics chief said that the day after the election, Schmidt walked up to him and asked him, "Who are you and what algorithms are you using?" Clearly showing his interest in how to harness technology to win elections. To date, Schmidt has funded 3 startups run by ex-Obama staffers. So now, for the 2016 election, a lot of those same people are working to do the same thing for Clinton. The groundwork will be busy ingesting massive amounts of information about you and about all voters in order to try to figure out how to get you to vote for Hillary. And they will be doing this in ways you can barely detect through ones and zeros in all the machines. But thanks to their logo, it's at least easy to detect what their real mission is. You just need to be awake enough to see it. Tonight, let's talk about that.
Okay, this is literally just the JQ, in case you were wondering. There is no reason whatsoever to mention them speaking Hebrew and then going on a rant about how the Illuminati is using technology to control your opinions. Why would... This could have just been regular Illuminati shit, but the Hebrew stuff... Yeah, no, this is just the Jewish question. Let's not pretend U.S. news organs close to be enemy doesn't do this shit... What? The U.S. doesn't have state media the way Russia does. We have like... We have like C-SPAN. We don't... Russia Today is state media. This is literally funded by the Russian government. Yeah. PBS, sorry. You're right. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think of, like, political outlets. It's true, we do have PBS. I'm just trying to think what the PBS equivalent to, like, Illuminati Jewish question is. Hold on. I'm trying to think, okay? A Voice of America, too, yeah. Wait, is PBS even state... Wait, there's a difference between state media and and publicly funded media, though, right? Does PBS take orders from government officials? Wait, hold on. There's a big difference between those things. Yeah, PBS is independent, I'm pretty sure. What about Voice for America? Is Voice for America independent? Overseen by the U.S. Agency for Global Media, an independent agency of the U.S. government. Yeah, Russia Today is funded and controlled by the Russian government. There's a pretty big difference. Also, I don't think any U.S. media is broadcasting the Jewish question at the moment, but I'll admit I haven't actually double-checked that. All right, we are, yeah, state-funded but not state-controlled, yeah. Voice of America literally would broadcast propaganda into Cuba and cause a radio blocking war between the U.S. and government in the 80s. Yeah, it sounds like something we'd do. That's probably not good.
My reaction, as I was listening to that live, and by the way, I was with Crystal when it happened, we started cringing more and more the more Jimmy talked, and ultimately my reaction was exactly like Max Blumenthal's. In that moment, we are all Max Blumenthal.
Okay.
And understand something, guys. My issue is actually not with the original incident that Jimmy's talking about there. Now, to be fair, Jimmy says, hey, it was a bad joke. Anna says, it wasn't a bad joke. It was Jimmy commenting on me in a sexual way in front of my students. Her students were in the room at the time. Now, I wasn't there. I'll never know exactly what happened. I don't think Jimmy's a sex pest. I don't think he's a criminal. I don't think this is a hashtag Me Too thing. But my issue with the thing we just saw is what he just said right there. Oh, she dresses inappropriate. Inappropriate? Who the fuck are you to determine what is and isn't appropriate for her? Are you a fundamentalist Christian? I mean, that's like some hardcore Republican thing to say. And if I'm being objective about this, even though Jimmy's my friend, if somebody spoke about my mom or my sister or my girlfriend...
Wait, hold on, guys. Just to quell in chat, okay? While I acknowledge that I don't know that much about Voice of America's history, one thing that frustrates me is, like, another country can be doing something obviously terrible, and then I'm like, oh yeah, well, America's not doing that. And somebody points out, like, well, actually... if you stretch the definition of what that is, tune it down like 40 degrees, and then go back to the 1960s, you'll actually find that America's like, I know, you know? Like, I swear to God, 1930s, I could have been on here on this 1930s live stream. I could have been like, guys, I know America is bad. We're not literally doing a Holocaust right now. And you guys would be like, well, actually, did you know that what we've done to the Native Americans has actually been tantamount to a cultural genocide now and an actual genocide just a few decades ago? And I'd be like, I know, I'm aware, however, it's not the Holocaust. And you went, well, I think you're repeating State Department propaganda by only highlighting the Holocaust going on in the Nazi Germany instead of talking about what's going on here in America. Bosh, 1940s, not 1930s. The Holocaust was happening in the 1930s. Wasn't it? Wait, yeah, no. Wait, hold on. We just weren't in the war in the 1930s. Wait, it says the Holocaust began in 1941? Is that true? The Night of Broken Glass was 38? Oh, okay. So the groundwork was being laid before 41, but the actual like death camps, trains, mass grave stuff, that started in 1941. Okay, yeah. So that's when the lead up was well underway by that point, but that's when they really started. Yeah. Jesus. Well, you know what? Even if they hadn't actually built the death camps yet, I still would have been criticizing Nazi Germany back in the 1930s. I know, I'm pretty brave.
That it would take every fiber of my being to not want to beat the shit out of them. Because that's humiliating. And he admits that it was a humiliating thing in the segment, but then it doesn't occur to you that maybe bringing this up again and talking about it in the way you're talking about it is like gonna humiliate her yet again? That doesn't occur to you? So listen, I just look at that and I think, that's kind of gross. And so my initial reaction was, and I still feel it to this day, is, whoa, okay, I want nothing to do with any of this. So like to that point, sure, at any point I could have jumped in and regulated and been like, all right, come on, guys.
Well, wait, hold on. Not wanting to have to do with any of this is the wrong reaction when you have two friends and one of them is sexually harassing the other and then publicly gloating about having sexually harassed the other. You can't back off that. I think that you have a responsibility to be a part of the people calling out Kyle, like Jimmy Dore's behavior.
Jimmy and Aaron are right about X, Y, and Z. The Young Turks, you're wrong about most of the policy stuff here, let's be serious. But I could have stepped in at any point there before that and been like, here are my thoughts on the whole thing. And everybody would have been like, okay, it's fine. Once this happened, I was like, oh, shit, I don't want to go anywhere near this. I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, dog. And listen.
No, I don't accept that. Even leaving aside all of the policy stuff, like Jimmy Dore, you say, wait, so hold on. You said that Anna crossed a line by calling Jimmy Dore a grifter, but Jimmy Dore didn't cross a line by bragging about the sexual harassment he engaged in the workplace against Anna? Like, that's not... I feel like at this point, you absolutely have a responsibility to put your foot down and say, like, hey, I'm not weighing in on the rest of this drama, but on this specifically, Jimmy Dore, you're acting like a huge creep, and I don't think there's any both sidesing that, you know? Like, you don't have to jump in on all the political stuff, but...
I think you're lying if you don't think that's understandable. Of course that's understandable. What a weird position I'm in as friends with all of them, and then this is unfolding in front of me.
He did? Did he do that? Because in this video, he's making it seem like he didn't comment publicly on it, or like he didn't really come down hard on Jimmy Dore. He did say he crossed a line that he'd want to beat them up. Okay, yeah, but then now he's also saying he doesn't want to touch it. He doesn't want to get involved in it. I'm saying that he should, like he should have or should say something publicly, which he is here, of course, but it seems like the only reason he's doing it publicly now is because Jimmy Dore has called him out. Which, isn't that a little weird? Like, if you thought that was crossing a line, but you won't, like, stand up to like, come out against the workplace sexual harassment when that comes up, but, like, now you'll say this now that Jimmy's coming after you. Jimmy will come after all of you. Like, Jimmy doesn't give a fuck about any of you. He doesn't care about any of you.
So, Crystal and I were planning to have Jimmy on Crystal Kyle and Friends one day. We were planning to have Cenk on Crystal Kyle and Friends one day. And then as we watched this, we decided, you know what? We don't want to have either one of them on right now. Because then we would be responsible for getting in the middle of this absolute mess.
No,
and we would have to ask really uncomfortable questions that are really personal in nature. And I don't want to have anything to do with some personal shit. Nothing at all. I care about policy. I don't care about personal shit. I don't want to be involved in this sort of stuff. So, you know, people might disagree with us on that. People might like the fact that it's, you know, you'll get a lot of clicks out of it, and it's like some reality star fighting stuff.
No, it's not. No, again, so the problem is he's like, this was fucked up. I would beat up Jimmy Dore if I saw that. But then he's saying, like, this is personal drama. The way he broadly describes the situation equivocates it really, really hard, like both sidesing it. That's just not true. Like, if you don't want to jump in and be the arbiter of some, like, personal stuff regarding Jimmy Dore sexually harassing Ana Kasparian, that's fine. You're not obligated to do that. But, like, at the very least, you should have been, like, pretty clear about your positions on this when it actually happened. Did he? Like, I want to know, like, are there tweets or videos from when the Jimmy Dore sexual harassment thing came out to begin with, of Jimmy Dore condemning this behavior. Or sorry, not of Kyle condemning this behavior. He said he would beat up Jimmy if it was his mom, GF wife, or sister. Ah, well. I'm pretty sure he did. Is there a video on it? Or are there tweets on it? Yeah, but like he literally just said he didn't want Anna Kasparian on because she was the victim of workplace sexual harassment. Isn't that basically what he just said? Vosh, he literally just said it. Holy fuck, pay attention. When it happened, not now that Jimmy's calling him out. I'm saying when it happened, not only now because Jimmy's calling him out. Do you understand? This is his first time addressing it. I don't think there's any way to read what he just said other than I wouldn't have Anna Kasparian on my podcast because she was the victim of workplace sexual harassment, and I don't want to feed into that drama. You know? Vosh, I'm sorry, but it's 100% understandable to not want to get into personal shit on a political commentary show. His show is for politics, and it doesn't affect policy of American lives in any way. Wait, hold on. I reject this bullshit mentality that calling out a popular political commentator on engaging in and defending sexual harassment is in politics, okay? Is this another class reductionism thing, all right? Sexism is politics. Sexual harassment is politics. It is political. This is all political. Jimmy Dore is a huge political YouTuber with a massive amount of influence, and it says a lot about people, it says a lot about him, and it says a lot about the broader political culture on YouTube, that this is considered like petty drama that Kyle Kulinski doesn't want to involve himself in, and that he wouldn't have Anna Kasparian on because she was the victim of workplace sexual harassment. That's like incredibly fucked up to me. Seriously. Like, this is all political. And you're making a political statement when you say, yeah, I think this is unacceptable behavior. Like, I'm not not saying Kyle Kulinski should have reveled in it for weeks. It wouldn't have taken very much. Did Kyle even tweet like, hey, this is you know, this sexual harassment is wrong? Yeah, and now he's only bringing it up because Jimmy has attacked him.
I don't want anything to do with it, man. I don't want anything to do with it. So now you might be saying, okay, well then why are you talking about it now? Well, the reason I'm talking about it now is I was dragged into it because I think Jimmy's upset that I'm not crusading in his defense or something, or agreeing with him 100% on every aspect of this, policy-wise and personal-wise. So he did some passive-aggressive stuff today on Twitter that caught my eye. The first thing, as you can see here, is he liked this tweet. Somebody tweeted at Crystal and me and said, seriously though, you're ignoring the Syria story completely to avoid drama. Weak. Now, of course, I responded to this with a bunch of question marks because the idea that I ignored the Syria thing is factually wrong. I covered it literally on my last show, and it was the very first video. You want to know why? Because I never, ever, 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 ever shy away from anything policy-wise. The policy shit is my job. It's my job to come out here, give you news.
Okay, Kyle, I'm going to give you a hot hint, okay? The Jimmy Dore liked this because he is trying to galvanize his audience against yours because constant drama and bitter infighting on left YouTube is the only thing that makes him relevant. That's it, okay? Obviously, the idea that you, Kyle Kulinski, would ignore the Syrian story is laughable, okay? If I was fucking kidnapped by ISIS, okay, and spent 3 weeks in a desert cave before escaping back to civilization, I would know reliably, okay, that within the past 24 hours of my release, that you have made a video on a Syrian story, okay? I don't need to know anything about the time, the date, the month. I don't need to know what year it is. You have recently covered some act of American imperialism abroad, okay? Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. So the fact that Jimmy Dore would take this thing specifically to criticize you on, it's not rooted in fact. He didn't actually think it. He's just getting ready to stir up drama against you the same way he has done to everybody else. Man, he's crazy. He is. And he doesn't do anything good for the left. He doesn't produce people who do anything good for the left anymore. Where do you fit ideologically if you are so disillusioned with the Democratic Party that you hate Bernie Sanders, you're not even a socialist, so you don't advocate for direct aid or any other kind of like, or direct action or mutual aid or any other kind of like direct extra electoral support, and you constantly simp for right-leaning figures. Where does that leave you ideologically? It's certainly not anything beneficial to the left.
Very first video. You want to know why? Because I never, ever, 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 ever shy away from anything policy-wise. The policy shit is my job. It's my job to come out here, give you news, give you facts, give you information, and give you my opinion. And so that's what I do. What is not my job is some weird interpersonal beef regulation, which now, unfortunately, I've been dragged into. But again, I want nothing to do.
Sexual harassment stops being interpersonal the moment that it's made subject of drama between like million sub-YouTubers. I do not think it's not interpersonal anymore. It's not personal drama. It's not something that you have the ability to not weigh on. I don't believe that. You don't have to weigh in on absolutely everything, but Ana Kasparian was getting fucking dogpiled by Jimmy Dore fans. Like Ana Kasparian was getting like a huge amount of hate online from his rabid fucking audience. And just like, I don't know. I think it's a really weak take to go like, I don't want to involve myself in personal drama, but now that I'm attacked, I'll make a 34-minute video where I come out 3 weeks after the fact against what Jimmy Dore did and said, but then explain why I didn't want to engage in it at the time or use my massive audience to defend Ana Kasparian against sexual harassment anyway. Like that, I just think that's really, really weak.
With that, I'm going to reiterate that 1,000 times throughout this segment. So, listen, the tweet that he says, you're going to ignore the serious story, and I quote, completely to avoid drama. No, I'm avoiding the drama to avoid the drama. I'm diving headfirst into the serious shit because that's my fucking job. And of course I'm going to dive headfirst into it. So I see that, I'm like, what are you doing, Jimmy? What are you doing? You know I'm going to talk about serious shit, and I did talk about the serious shit. So why are you liking a tweet that says I didn't talk about the serious shit? And then we got this response from him. So he says, and he's quoting somebody else who said this, but this is the sentiment he agrees with. I think they are talking about the OPCW cover-up and the slanderous conduct of your friends Cenk and Ana in trying to destroy the reputation of Aaron Mate. But you can keep pretending that doesn't matter, I guess. Okay, so we already talked about the Aaron Mate thing. The other thing they're talking about here is the OPCW report. They're claiming I never said anything about it. Really? This is from my very last live stream. So we're the rebels in Syria we are the rebels in Syria doing the chemical attacks on the people. So we're, it says WE'. I think this person is saying, was it the rebels that did the chemical attacks on the people in Syria? You guys had to, follow this stuff. The OPCW whistleblower, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this just came out not that long ago. It turns out that all the claims from the Western governments were total bullshit and they had no evidence for it.
Dylan, you're still here, right? This is complete horseshit, right? Dylan, do you have like 2 seconds in Discord? Can you come in? Why do people want to defend Assad so badly? You're not like challenging American hegemony by defending Assad, all right? Hey, you know how you could have challenged American hegemony? By supporting the fucking Rojava project. But no, Trump pulls troops out of there, so they get fucked by Turkey and by Assad. But no, Rojava, the actual anarchist project, is bad because they worked with American troops against ISIS, and Assad is good because what? Because he works with Putin? Why? All right, hold on. I just need to make sure. Foreign policy stuff is complicated. No. I know Kyle supports the Kurds. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just... By the way, people who like Assad tend not to like Rojava, okay? Like, they actually quite dislike Rojava generally. They say that Rojava is a project of the American State Department, in spite of the fact that it's immeasurably based. But Assad is cool, in spite of him being a right-wing dictator. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm still mad that you stole my belt. I gotta find some other accoutrement to the
Look, you're getting kind of old. What are you, like 40 something now? I think it would be elder abuse to have someone like yourself actually fighting in competition at this point. We need to move on. We need to move on from anarchids like yourself to chat icons like Caleb Maupin, who releases books. What books have you released? I mean, his serious book on BreadTube.
I wrote a Five Nights at Freddy fanfiction once.
Well, that's cancelable at this point. Did you see about the Republican donations?
It was
basically Republican wash.
It was extremely cancelable at the time too, in many ways. Okay, I just need the info on this. Okay, what was the OC? What's the...
Okay, so the thing that gets me about this, there's a million things that get me. There's a million terrible fucking things Assad has done. that could be talked about. You can talk about how every election he's ever participated was a massive fraud. You could talk about how in 2004, this is something I'm just going to say because nobody knows about this, and it angers me so much. In 2004, there was a football match in northeastern Syria between a predominantly Kurdish area and a predominantly Arab area. And the predominantly Arab area started like holding up pictures of Saddam Hussein, which pissed off the Kurds, right? And this started kind of like a conflict between them, and like there was some fist fighting and stuff thrown. And later, Assad's forces came in and mowed down 30 Kurdish protesters, only Kurdish ones. Then Kurds tore down a statue of Hafez al-Assad, and more were tortured, killed, including children and women. This is stuff that Bashar al-Assad has done for the vast majority of his presidency. The thing is, all of this stuff is completely undisputable. If you look at the start of the Syrian civil war, it started because he opened fire on protesters and the people had had enough. If you look at the barrel bombs, that's completely undisputable. If you look at his history of torture, that's completely undisputable. If you look at his history of censorship of speech or propaganda, all of it, it's completely undisputable. The thing is, there are barrel bombs, obviously documented. There's documented instances of his coalition targeting hospitals full of sick patients and civilians. Like, this is all documented. The vast majority of casualties in the Syrian civil war have actually been from the Assad regime. They've killed more people than ISIS did in Syria. In fact, it's not even close in comparison. When it comes to the chemical weapons, there are multiple different chemical weapons attacks all across, as I sent you that list. What they're talking about with the OPCW report is one chemical weapons attack. So that should already be enough that they're not disputing all of these things. It'd be like if I said,
so this
hey,
is a whistleblower report where they're disputing with, and I don't know how substantial the dispute is, but they're disputing one of these 36.
One of like these fucking huge list of things. It'd be like if somebody was like, hey, you see this list of concentration camps? This one right here, it seems a little weird to me. You see that little smudge on the paper right there? I think they're all fake. That's the level of what.
That's what I get from Holocaust deniers. So you know, that's
the level of what this is getting at. And so what they're talking about is, number one, they don't want to deal with all the other instances. They want to deal with this instance. And the proposal is that it wasn't Bashar al-Assad. It was actually. Well, people did die in this chemical attack, so who could it have been? And so people say it was a false flag operation by the rebels. Is there any evidence provided that it was the rebels? No. Do they even have the means to do this? That is highly questionable. It most certainly was most likely done by helicopters, and I don't know if you know this, but it's very difficult for the FSA, ISIS, or any group that doesn't have an actual standing army to get aerial equipment like helicopters. What does all the evidence point to? The Syrian regime doing it. But because of this whistleblower leak, and by the way, a lot of the whistleblowers, like the information these whistleblowers had access to, was not the same that the actual people who did the vast majority of the research had access to. So I would first question whether these whistleblowers actually had the information available to make these determinations. And next I would say, not if you even were to, let's say we gave them complete benefit of the doubt and say, this one is sketchy, maybe slightly. This is a little bit sketchy. That's kind of weird. Kind of weird, champ, in fact. The thing is, what about all the other ones? What about all the other evidence? What about all the other evil things he did? And if the idea was that it was a false flag operation done by the United States or the White Helmets or everything after Barack Obama put a red line in the sand so we could invade Syria, why the fuck didn't we invade Syria? If the whole point of this was to do this secret special ops operation where we go in and we do this fake flag, a false flag attack to actually do this chemical attack so we make Assad look bad and then do it, why the hell would our response as a government just to be bombing an empty airfield? That's a huge risk to take to undermine our international credibility just to bomb an empty airfield.
Yeah, from what I've seen, the thing is, a lot of people say that all the criticisms of Assad in Syria are part of some like attempt to ramp up an invasion like mentality, but I haven't noticed any of that because I was young, but I remember after 9/11, the pre-Iraq war like drum up it wasn't just talking about chemical weapons, you know? It was this insane, omnipresent, complete saturation of moralistic justifications for invading Iraq. It wasn't just like, oh, this leader did a bad thing. It was this massive cultural zeitgeist from every element of society, all pushing singly towards the objective of morally justifying an invasion of Iraq. This does not happen in Syria at all. Nobody in America knows what a Syria is. Seriously. Nobody, if you ask an average American what their opinion is on Syria, I don't think they would even know what's in the Middle East, frankly. There's just that war fervor isn't there. And the fact that they're not trying to drum it up suggests to me that criticisms of Syria probably stem from, you know, bad stuff they're doing more so than an attempt at an on-the-ground invasion.
The thing is, if you look at, even if you look at Operation Timber Sycamore, which is a confirmed CIA operation where we sent guns and funds to the FSA, the Free Syrian Army. This is 100% confirmed that we did this. If you just look up Operation Timber Sycamore, there's Wikipedia documents on it. We admit that this happened. None of that had anything to do with what is being proposed here. And you can just talk about that on its own. And that in and of itself, that operation was never meant to overthrow the government of Bashar al-Assad. It was meant to basically put him in a weakened position, a position where he wouldn't be able to operate to the same capabilities, and it would maybe put him in a different negotiating position. The point of it was never to completely overthrow him, because Obama had to live with the fallout of Iraq, of Afghanistan, of all these different wars, and he ran a tightrope when it came to Syria. And that tightrope was, fuck, Assad's a brutal dictator. Do we commit to overthrowing him? Wait, I just publicly said we're gonna have this red line, oh God. But literally every American hates Iraq. Literally every American hates Afghanistan, which Obama even called Afghanistan, like the good war comparative to Iraq was the bad war. Fuck, what do I do? And that indecisiveness is probably one of the biggest criticisms you'll get for basically both sides of the aisle to Obama. One side saying he did too much in Syria. The other side saying, holy shit, your indecisiveness ruined an opportunity to get rid of a terrible dictator. Then you go to the Trump administration, and he was all over the place. He pulled out of northeastern Syria, which Operation Inherent Resolve was the one like hugely successful thing we did in Syria that like basically had zero to very low drawbacks, and he pulled out of that. So which administration would have done this? Why would Obama make this red line in the sand and go fall back on it? And why would Trump do this huge operation or coordinate this or coordinate that to then just bomb an empty airfield? It doesn't even make sense from like a foreign policy framework. It just, and that's on top of the
also
fact
the big
that there's all
fundamentally
human rights abuses.
Right. Well, the big issue here is also that if you follow their logic, you don't actually get to criticize any country that America doesn't like. Like, because if you ever do, it's State Department propaganda and you're like drumming up a war with them or something. They did this with Russia too. The Russian government is dog shit. Fuck Russia. It's a worthless piece of shit government that doesn't deserve any respect or credibility. But anytime anybody on the Democratic Party criticizes them, they get accused by all of these IDW adjacent dumbfucks online of peddling like State Department propaganda with the intention of starting World War III. Like you can't not criticize bad countries just because you don't agree with it. Like it's inherently contradictory. They don't. So what? The only countries we can criticize, the only countries that are bad, are what? Western democracies. There's nothing left there. You know.
There's one last thing I should throw.
One last thing. Apparently, Rumsfeld is dead. Apparently, he died like a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I just found that out.
Speaking of the Iraq War,
I'm gonna keep quiet on that one.
Yeah, keep.
My mother always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. The thing is, when it comes to this, there's one big conspiracy theory that I'll see, and it's about this organization called the White Helmets. Do you have any familiarity with that? Have you ever heard that said before?
I've heard the name, don't remember what they do.
So White Helmets was this like basically this medical group within Syria that operated on the FSA side of the Syrian civil war, even though they also saved Assad's Syrian army soldiers during it and actually pissed off a lot of the militias they were fighting along. They were alongside saving him. There was all of these like conspiracy theories about they were the ones who did the chemical attack. Is there any evidence for this? Not really. What people will end up posting is, hey, look at this. They're staging this event. Look at this. They're staging the attack and post footage that looks like somebody staging a chemical attack. But then you look at the sources of all these videos. What is it? Oh, they're filming for a campaign to raise awareness about the war in Syria. And these conspiracy theories always go along like that, like unsourced videos where people just randomly fucking claim blatantly, like just with no evidence whatsoever, that this is evidence of that this was the faked Syrian chemical attack. And it would be like if I said this is evidence of this terrible war crime that happened, and then I just posted, like, I don't know, footage from, like, I don't know, like some alien invasion movie and saying, see, this is proof of aliens. It's to that level these wacky conspiracy theories get. It's complete fucking nonsense.
I'll have to look into it more. It's just surprising to me that so much time and energy is wasted on the particulars of the war crimes and crimes against humanities that Assad causes, because in all other respects, it seems like we're talking about a fairly petty dictator in a fairly geopolitically, I mean, like when it comes to the relevance of like the average American, it's not like our neighbor, it's not Mexico, you know, but so much time and energy gets split on this. And I really can't help but feel like there are people out there who defend Assad like purely out of contrarianism or purely because they're, I don't know what, they like stirring up shit because there are other geopolitical agents who benefit from the defense of Assad. I have no idea, but it's really, really
Can I
weird.
give you one tip? This is the one tip, and this is something, and I know you like making people angry. Really, you like making the worst people angry. If there's anything that pisses people off more, is actually reading these leaks, reading the context, doing the actual research behind this one day, and then be like, oh shit, yeah, this is all bullshit. And then when later you can say that, people will just get fucking outraged. Every time I say this, I'll have like a bunch of people in chat, fucking people who've never read the report, that'll just say, well, WikiLeaks said this or this said that. If you just read the actual things people talk about, just immediately, they're fucking on the back foot because they never read these reports. They just skim the shit and then throw it out there. It happens every time. And
yeah, I'm actually seeing that right now. Somebody linked a tweet in chat right now, and it's from somebody who got blocked by Aaron Mate. Somebody said, the OPCW leak draft said claims of staging are, quote, based on little or no evidence. And somebody else, Aaron Mate, says, wow, can you share a screenshot and the page number of this amazing find? Skeptical emoji, clown face emoji. And then the guy responds, page 28, quote, one criterion used in forensic epidemiology to assess causation considers the possibility of an alternate explanation. The team considered alternate injury events, but stressed they are founded on few or no substantiated facts. And then Mate blocked him. What a piece of shit, dude. We might go after the gray zone next. I don't. These fucking state actors, dude. These the literal foreign State Department rolled motherfuckers. Jesus Christ.
Okay, can I give you the collection, the anti-imperialist fucking like Power Glove collection of
drop them on me, but then I got to go back to the Kyle Kalinske video.
Richard Medhurst, Partisan Girl, Aaron Mate, and the last one, of course, is going to be Glenn Greenwald and Max Blumenthal. These are the 5 magical gems that will give you a brain tumor if you ever need to.
Well, I remember, isn't Partisan Girl like literally a Nazi?
She is friends with David Duke and has been on his podcast multiple times, but people continue to have them on and be friendly with them. And I've had people try to justify her like friendship with David Duke, or her saying that BLM is a terrorist organization and they worked with the terroristic Kurds to destroy America and chop and chap and all that shit. Like 100%. And by the way, she supports the most far right party in Syria, which is like I forget exactly how to pronounce it. I always just call them the Syrian Hurricanes, which have their own militia. Which, one second, let me just read you the description of them. And this is somebody that's apparently really fucking respected. It's called the Syrian Social Nationalist Party.
Cool.
You can take from it what you will.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into them. I love being on the left, man. Nothing makes me happier. Going online and seeing a bunch of just obvious fascists, except for other countries, being taken seriously. It's really, really cool. I love it.
It's always a blast. You have a good one. By the way, if you just look at their symbol, it just looks like a swastika. It's just basically a swastika.
You said
anyway,
Syrian Social Nationalist Party?
Yeah, the SSNP for short.
Gotcha. Thank you again, Dylan. I appreciate it.
You have a blast.
It does kind of look like a swastika.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Twitch.tv/DylanBurns TV, YouTube at Dylan Burns TV. That's the way. And BRNS TV. You'll have a blast. Okay, see you later.
Yeah, the ninja swastika. Yeah, is that the Mangekyo Sharingan? Yeah. Yeah, don't look into it too hard. You'll be sent to the fucking nightmare dimension. Okay, what are we doing right now? Are we back? Oh, I just had an idea. This is definitely second channel content. This whole thing, because it's just a big rambling thing. This is going on the second channel, okay? Here's what I need you guys to do. If you want to watch this twice in a row, and I know you do, because you're good Vosh fans, okay? Then you need to go to the goddamn second channel, okay? Which is being linked over there. It's called The Vosh Pit, and I'll bring it up in just a second, okay? 25,000 subs and no content. Unfortunately, when you search for it, it doesn't come up because there are no videos on this channel. But this will be the first one, so that'll fix it. There you go. It's got this face right here. See that? You see that? I'm going to leave this up, so while I go pee, you can subscribe to this channel and watch it again. Can I just like it? Nope, you have to subscribe. Okay. What do we get? What do we pull in with that reel? 300. That's because you're all already subscribed. Yay! All right, pull it in.
So yes, the claims of the chemical attacks against the civilians in Syria done by the Assad government, that turns out to be total bullshit. And it's not me saying it; it's whistleblowers who were at the UN who were like, "That's not true at all." This was a big story, but it was kind of hidden. It was only like Aaron Mate and a handful of other people who really blew the whistle on it.
All right. After all this, I feel like the well's been poisoned a little bit, but these are not credible people.
Oh, and listen, I'm gonna toot my own horn here a little bit, but yeah, I called that one from the beginning. It was very similar to this. It all has weapons of mass destruction, and it was not true. And in the case of Assad, I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember when Assad gave up all of his chemical weapons? Remember that?
Okay, hold on. I understand. Okay, what people need to understand is that just because our government has lied before doesn't mean every single thing bad about every other country ever is a lie, okay? Like, dude, like, if Iraq had happened back in 1920, would we be doing that with Nazi Germany? Yeah, they're saying that there are death camps being built in Poland by the Nazi government. Okay, sure. And we heard about those WMDs back in Iraq. You know, we hear this all the time from the government. Like, you can't throw that out about everything, you know? And the fact that you use that as an example or as a comparison for everything suggests that you have like a pre-existing bias against any sort of criticism of any other government.
There was a moment where it was like John Kerry and some Russian counterpart doing a press conference, and they basically said, is there anything that Syria could do to make you not like attack or invade? And basically, Kerry said something like, yeah, give up all your chemical weapons, but that's not going to happen. And then the very next day, or within the next week, Assad was like, here, take all my chemical weapons. And they did. They came and they took all the chemical weapons. And so it's funny that like everybody forgets that part. But then they go on to say, well, obviously he was attacking civilians with gas. So in other words, at a time when he already basically won the war, he was going to attack his own civilians with gas, which would bring the West right back into it. It's nonsense. And it turns out we learned it was total nonsense. Now, that's not even the only time I brought it up. I brought it up 3 or 4 times. I've done literally over 100 segments on Syria. Now, granted, most of those, I mean, almost all of them are about the civil...
The why would Assad gas his own people is a common denier line. Yeah, why do people use that as though it's some intuitive logic? Countries oppress their own citizens all the time. Saddam did slaughter Kurds, you know? There are plenty of dictatorial governments that do this. Why would it... Is it like... dude, why would Assad, like, gas his own people? Wouldn't that make others mad? Like, I don't know. Why do dictatorial governments do that all the time? You really think someone would do that? Take control of a country and then brutally oppress their population? But why?
War.
Yeah, it's like when those people who downplay slavery are like, do you really think they would, like, kill and beat up slaves? Why would they do that to their own property? Why would you buy slaves and then, like, beat them up or kill them? Wouldn't that cut into your profits? I don't think people did that. Like, They did? I don't know. It's not...
you know, since we got the OPCW whistleblower and Aaron did that great work, almost every segment on Syria, I've brought up that fact. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm doing policy shit exactly right, yet I'm still somehow getting these weird passive-aggressive criticisms.
Yeah, because Jimmy doesn't have any principles. This video was just going to... He was going to split from you no matter what, man. He doesn't believe in anything. He's just trying to stir up fire so that he can... If I go to Jimmy Dore's YouTube page right now... Do we have anything about this, or is it too soon? I think it's too soon, because this video came out like 4 hours ago. 5 hours ago? Yeah. We'll see, though. There are going to be a bunch of videos on Kyle. It's what he does.
So here's the bottom line, guys. Everyone needs to stop dragging me into some bullshit. This has absolutely nothing to do with me. If they want to keep duking it out, they can keep duking it out. I don't buy this notion that, well, everything they're doing is talking about policy. Nonsense, because if that was the case, well, guess what? I've done 103 segments on Syria, 82 on Russia, 16 on Russia Gate. I debated Cenk on Russia Gate. I did 217 segments on Medicare for All, and maybe about a dozen referencing directly or indirectly Force the Vote, and I was a supporter of Force the Vote. So everybody knows where I stand on all the policy stuff. Yet I'm being dragged into this. And I don't want to be dragged into this, because it has gotten ugly, and it has gotten personal. And the final point I want to make is this. Here's where everybody's wrong, okay? TYT accuses Jimmy of being a grifter and a right-winger.
Okay, I still cannot abide the, like, centrist language being used here with the whole Ana Kasparian sexual harassment thing. Like, that's still really, really weird. Like, it got ugly, it got personal. I mean, he made one criticism of you on Twitter, dude. He bragged about sexually harassing Ana Kasparian and then sent his fan base to harass her. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's just like personal stuff between other people. This seems like stuff that you should have commented on. I thought that you would have been averse to commenting on it in general because it wasn't really in your orbit or your circle, but to now talk about why you didn't want to talk about it and to only evoke it in self-defense comes off really weird.
They're wrong on both of those things. It doesn't matter what you think of Jimmy, personally or otherwise. He's not a grifter. He believes every word he's saying. Guaranteed. I know Jimmy. If
he's not a grifter, then he's a lunatic. Those are the only two options. He's a grifter or he's mentally unwell. That's the line on this one. I'm sorry, dude. I'm just not buying it. He has to be one of those two things, okay?
Jimmy. That's a fact. He believes every single word he's saying.
That's not good.
The idea he's a right-winger is also ludicrous. He's attacking Democrats from the left. He's attacking the left.
Wait, how? How is he attacking Democrats from the left when he'll play defense for and speak positively of people to the right of them? How is he attacking them from the left? Like, what affirmative, positive, left-wing advocacy is he doing? Besides tearing down every existing avenue for left advocacy there is.
Flank of the Democrats from the left. Now, you might not like that. You might think some of his attacks are unfair. You might think some of his attacks are misleading or whatever. We're not going to get into that now. I got 1,000 criticisms and 1,000 points of agreement. But he ain't a right-winger, and he ain't a grifter, okay? At the same time, Jimmy accuses TYT of being basically corrupt and being liars. I disagree. You know who else used to disagree? This guy.
Actually, I was wondering about Cenk because, I saw Cenk at the e-board meeting and I asked him some tough questions about how he's taking money from Jeffrey Katzenberg. He got a $20 million investment to hire some journalists. And so far, I haven't seen a lot of them, doing the original investigative reporting that they're supposed to be doing. I see a lot of punditry. And unfortunately, on the main show, it tends to be kind of mainstream. Does he think that this money that he's taken from the establishment Democratic Party would influence him? And of course, he says it hasn't. But now we see, this reporting about Russia. So I know that you may not you have to choose your words very carefully, but
I don't think I don't think Cenk is preaching a false narrative for investment money. I think he truly believes it. Cenk is what I call a natural Republican, right? So he was a Republican at first for a long time, and he talks about this openly about how he even led pro-Iraq war rallies, right? The first one, and so that's why people are drawn to him because it's this great journey where he went from this meathead into this progressive, right? And so that's what appealed to me about his journey and about Cenk. So I think if he is what we consider to be wrong on an issue, it's just because he's genuinely believes it. That money, that investment money, that's not how Cenk works. And if he's making a mistake. It's just he's making a mistake. Or I disagree with him. I disagree with him before they took that money. Well, the first gas attack in 2013, and Barack Obama wanted to bomb Syria over that, and they believed it.
And it was proven false.
It was since proven false.
Jimmy's 100% right there, and that wasn't that long ago. Let me break this down further. Listen, TYT took investment money from a guy by the name of Buddy Roemer. Buddy Roemer is a former Republican politician. Now, when they took that money, did they then turn around and on the show they started supporting Republican politicians and pushing Republican policies? No, they didn't, right? Because the whole point of the deal was, hey, we're only going to make a deal if you have zero editorial control over the show. Cenk would only make deals with people who would have no editorial control over the show. So that's exactly what happened with Buddy Roemer. He took money from a former Republican politician, and they didn't end up backing Republicans nonstop. Now, it goes deeper than that too, though, because he took money from Katzenberg. Did that make him change his opinions? No.
I don't care about it.
I got news for you guys. If you've watched TYT for a long time, you'll know this. He's always had a lot of cringe opinions. So, for example, before he took money from Roemer or Katzenberg, Cenk always referred to himself as, and I quote, a mild interventionist. What? He has always been relatively hostile to protectionism. He says he believes more in free trade than other lefties like me and Jimmy. I don't know what Aaron's position is on.
Man, do I not agree with Kyle on like anything? It feels like every like issue he breaks with on here, he's like wrong on. On all the foreign policy stuff, he's pretty much objectively incorrect. Protectionism is bad for this country and doesn't help the working class. Like, I don't know. And interventionism can be selectively helpful. It's really about understanding the specifics of the situation. It's usually not helpful, but it's not a matter of principle. Yeah, rare instances where we can help. It is telling to me that the only criticisms of policy that he has laid out here have been against TYT. Actually, now that I think about it, has he disagreed with Jimmy Dore on a single policy issue or on anything besides the sexual harassment? Yeah, that's a little bit telling, I think. The funny thing is that when I went on Crystal Kyle and Friends, and I was asked about Force the Vote, I pointed out that I didn't principally have an issue with Force the Vote, like, the strategy. I had an issue with the way Jimmy Dore caustically used it to tear apart the left and build his own personal brand, and it seemed like Kyle didn't even want to defend Jimmy Dore's behavior, because he kept saying, I remember, like, oh, I wish I had a better memory, but I remember him saying, like, you know, besides Jimmy Dore, like, besides that, like, what about the issue, you know? Yeah. I'm not a fan of your free trade stance. Why do you think free trade helps workers? It's not about free trade. It's about internationalism. It's about a trade between countries. It doesn't have to be free. You can regulate that trade. It's not like a binary where on one hand you have isolationist protectionism and on the other hand you have rampant neoliberalism. There's nothing wrong with the exchange of goods between countries.
On free trade and protectionism, but I know Jimmy is more in alignment with me on that. Cenk was always like, I'm more of a free trader. Cenk has always been sort of openly hostile to unions. There's clips back from TYT in like 2008 where he mentions unions and he's like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of unions. So listen,
I won't defend
I disagree with Cenk on all of that, but I disagreed with him on it before he took investment money and after he took investment money. And this is a guy who walked away from $1 million MSNBC contract because he felt like they were going to muzzle him. So then would he turn around and take investment money for his company for them to muzzle him or force him to change his opinions? No, he wouldn't do it. Now, again, I want to be clear about something. This isn't me saying, you can never disagree with TYT. Of course, I have 1,000 disagreements with them. Again, I literally debated Cenk on Russiagate, okay? And there's a million other things I could go on and on about where I think they're wrong. But it's definitely not that they're changing opinions because they got the money. They would only take money from people who left them full editorial control and wouldn't impact the direction of the show. If you dislike the direction of the show, you could dislike it on its own merits. You could dislike it because you disagree with Cenk and Anna. It doesn't have to be because of the money thing and they're, nefarious, twisting their evil mustache behind closed doors like, I will now change direction of the show because I got the money.
The funny thing is that, like, Jimmy Dore has accused other people of being state ops or being bought, but do we really think that Jimmy Dore gets all of his money from YouTube? I would eat my hat. I don't know, dude. It seems very unlikely to me.
Listen,
I can't speculate on that. Nah, it's just a big house, and like, man, it just seems like everyone who peddles the kind of stuff that Jimmy Dore does has like direct associations with some group or another that's pro-Assad, or it's like a Russian government or Modi or something like that. He has a Patreon. Patreons really do not pay for that much. 2,000 patrons? Even if everyone was $10 a month, and probably not.
Only criticism I have on that front is they made a lot of bad business decisions. They made a lot of bad business decisions. I think it's gross if you take investment money and then you also turn around and do grassroots fundraising. Don't do that. Because then the people who are giving you the grassroots money, they feel like they're the ones who are funding the whole shit, and then you're also raising investment money. I just think that's gross. I think that's a bad business decision. I think the optics of taking investment money, whether it's from Romer or Katzenberg, I think the optics are terrible.
There's no use speculating about it. If you don't know, just weakens your argument. You're right. Let's make a stronger argument. Jimmy Dore has no problem with the gray zone or any of the other people who orbit his sphere who clearly and objectively take money from state sources that influence their political opinions, but he will baselessly accuse institutions of having political biases based on the money that they take from others if he doesn't agree with their opinions. He will literally work alongside state agents for the Russian government and then turn around and accuse TYT of being bought out by other groups, okay? That is, yeah, there you go. There's the specific criticism, okay?
You know, on that alone, I would have said don't do it. Never mind the fact that they did it and they did grassroots fundraising. But what I'll tell you is this. Jimmy believes every word he says, and TYT believes every word they say. And so, listen, in summation, this is all I have to say about this. I'm always going to tell you guys exactly what I think on policy stuff, because that's my job. That's my job. But when it gets personal, especially with people who I know and am friends with, I want absolutely nothing to do with it. I want to be a million miles away from it. So I don't want to hear about some #MeToo shit. I don't want to hear about some bickering. I don't want to hear about how you think somebody's a grifter and a right-winger, and you think somebody's corrupt and they're a liar. Basically, as long as they're calling each other grifters and right-wingers and corrupt and liars, and as long as we're having the conversation about dressing inappropriately and shit, I'm out. Not only do I not want anything to do with this, I don't want anything to do with them either. Them. I'm done with all of them.
Nah, this is fucking bullshit, dude. I'm done with them. The them including the sexual harasser and the person being sexually harassed. If this was some back and forth like shit flinging, then fine. But this like equivocating, like I'm not getting involved with all that when one person is clearly being the victim of targeted harassment and a fan base that's like, yeah, this is both citing sexual harassment. Like, Kyle, come on, this is super beneath you, okay? I know that you don't want to go hard on Jimmy or whatever, but like eventually you're going to have to do one of two things. You're going to have to own up to Jimmy Dore being a reprehensible piece of shit, or you're going to have to stop talking about him altogether. Or I guess you could like go along with it. I don't know. Like eventually you have to own up to that. Like you can't both sides this. All right?
Because I'm an adult and I got no time for this high school type shit. Okay, and you might think it's not high school shit, but you're wrong. You're fucking wrong. Because if we are just talking about
this, honestly, this comes off as him being scared of Jimmy Dore. That's the feeling that I get. He doesn't want the Jimmy Dore audience harassing him or like dogpiling him, and he knows that a lot of his audience likes Jimmy Dore as well. Yeah, this is pretty bad to me.
Policy again. I got dragged into this shit.
Sexual harassment isn't high school shit.
Oh no, it is all about policy. Is it really? Well then, you didn't think that, what are the numbers again? My 103 segments on Syria, my 82 segments on Russia, my 16 on Russiagate, my 217 on Medicare for All, and maybe a dozen on Forced to Vote. That wasn't sufficient for you to understand where I am policy-wise in this conversation? So listen, on the policy stuff, yes, I happen to agree much, much more with Jimmy and Aaron, without a doubt. On the personal stuff, at this point, I want nothing to do with any of you guys. And if you don't like that, you can fuck off. And I'm not just talking to them now. I'm talking to people in the audience who might not agree with how I'm approaching this or what I'm doing. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I'm an introverted guy. I don't like drama. I'm being dragged into some bullshit. So what I'm doing, dipping my toe in the bullshit because I got dragged into it, and I'm getting the fuck out, and I'm going to be nowhere near it. Okay? And I hope I don't get dragged into it again where I have to respond again to some shit.
You will, because Jimmy Jimmy's just going to use this to galvanize the audience. It's not, yeah.
I don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. But if I got to do some shit, I got to do it. And that's why I'm doing this segment right now. But hopefully this is the last thing I have to say about this. I want nothing to do with it. I want to be 1,000 miles away from it. And you should respect that. But if you don't respect that, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no. I think this is pretty fucking bad. TYT believes everything they say. Do they really believe Aaron Mate is a Russian agent? Wait! Doesn't Aaron Mate literally work for Russia today? Or is that a different person? Oh, that was Max Blumenthal? Gotcha, that was Max Blumenthal. Vosh, he's not wrong, though. If he has nothing to do with it, he's not obligated to speak in it. Okay, so let me be really clear. First of all, the if you're not involved, you're not obligated to speak is exactly how sexual harassment propagates in workplace environments, and it's exactly how what Me Too is meant to address. People supposed to be loud and speak up about this stuff. But in this case, I don't think that Kyle Kulinski has an obligation to speak on all drama like this that takes place in his broader political sphere, okay? When this happened, I did not go over to Kyle Kulinski's Twitter, take a look at his feed, and see, oh my god, he hasn't said anything, what a piece of shit. I didn't do that because I don't think you have an obligation to jump on everything that happens around you. There's probably RedTube drama that happened that's really, bad that I haven't talked about. You can infer my opinion, okay? I don't know. I don't keep up with everything. However, that he would now only bring it up as part of an act of self-defense after a very mild criticism from Jimmy Dore, and then put it in a 34.5-minute video where he would say it was disgusting, but then for the rest of the video go on to equivocate that behavior, say that it's just drama, it's just high school bullshit, it's just, I don't want to have either of you on now, this is, so you both need to handle this on your own. This is the language of equivocation right here. It's not just he didn't want to be involved, it's that he is implicitly downplaying Ana Kasparian's sexual harassment by saying that it's just part of some high school drama that they're both fussing about and he just doesn't want to get involved in. If he didn't bring it up at all, he didn't have to. The only reason he made this video right here was because Jimmy Dore criticized him for not speaking out on the Syria thing, right? He could have made a 5-minute video where he showed the tweet and then he said, look at all these videos on the Syria thing. Is this a joke? Look at this. I've commented on this tons of times. It'd be a 5-minute video and that'd be that. He's only bringing up the Jimmy Dore stuff now because he wants to make it clear that he is against the sexual harassment, but not so much that he feels the need to take a firm moral stance on it in a public setting. That's cowardice, frankly. The last thing the populist left needs is a war between Jimmy and Kyle. That's the thing. Dude, we need to blow up this whole... Vosh, I don't think it's good to speculate like that. Nothing that I just said was speculation at all. Nothing that I just said was speculation. The most likely explanation here is that so there are two ways to it, there are two speculations that you could make. One of them would be that, Kyle Kulinski just doesn't care that much about Kasparian or sexual harassment, which I don't believe. The more likely one to me is that he really doesn't want to get into a YouTube war with Jimmy Dore, because Jimmy Dore loves doing that with other people. Hey, except for me. You know why Jimmy Dore can never do it against me? You know why Jimmy Dore hasn't made a video on me in spite of the fact that I'm a very loud voice against him and I have a huge audience? Do you know why? It's because my audience doesn't have dumb fucks in it. There's nobody in my community who would be pulled over by what Jimmy Dore says. There's nothing in it for him. He couldn't fracture my community because my community is not susceptible to his shit. That's why I never have to worry about him. He could make 1,000 videos about me and it could galvanize his fan base, but it couldn't do shit to mine. Yeah, you're dumb fucks, but for different reasons, okay? I've never seen a secular talk video with this many dislikes. Uh-oh! What happened to Aaron was wrong, TYT was wrong, yes, you need to say it. So that's what they care about, the accusations against Aaron Mate. Why aren't these comments loading? Can we... It's one thing to be McCarthy-smeared by others, not your alleged friends. I hate this McCarthy-smeared comment. The real McCarthyism right now... By the way, the real McCarthyism taking place right now is the critical race theory discourse. Holy shit, Tucker Carlson and Republican congresspeople like Matt Gaetz are literally accusing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of being a communist wokelet because he said that he doesn't want to be, radically opposed to critical race theory. This is literally point for point playing out like how how McCarthyism played out back in the 50s. Has Kyle talked about it? Just asking. Has Kyle talked about that? About Republicans literally fear-mongering about an entire academic branch and using it to launch attacks against people in our government to accuse them of being anti-American. But you'll accuse other people of being McCarthyites? Search it? Yeah, what would I look for? Nothing. Matt Gaetz recently. Yeah, CRT, I guess. Nope. Not seeing it. I'm not seeing it, guys. Like, this was a big deal, too. Yeah. He probably sees it as id pull. This is a fundamental weakness of Kyle Kulinski's political advocacy. You are not economically left-wing unless you're also socially left-wing and you do the groundwork behind it, okay? Because advocating for Medicare for all doesn't do shit if you lose your entire government to fear-mongering over race issues, okay? Whether you like it or not, people do not vote based on economic issues for the most part. They fear-monger like crazy over social issues, especially conservatives. And if you can't address that or like reach people along those lines, all your Medicare for all bickering will mean nothing when we lose our entire government to like white nationalists, okay? Did Jimmy Dore cover that? Jimmy Dore would probably support what Matt Gaetz said. Bosh, to be fair, when I look for classism on your channel, I also don't find much. What do you mean by classism? I talk about class issues pretty often. And also, my position on class issues is abundantly clear. I don't know what by like classism, like landlords or something. Yeah, I don't see any of it on Jimmy Dore's channel either. Yeah, wait, wasn't my most recent debate wasn't my most recent debate with an objectivist where I argued for socialism? Yeah, I don't know. Or at very least strong social democracy. I don't know. I mean, I definitely talk about it. One, I think you have the right to stay out of any issue, especially personal ones. Two, I don't think the Aaron Mate issues are drama. Okay, so yeah. You don't have to comment on the sexual harassment stuff, but defending the Aaron Mate guy, that's... Oh, cool. Here's Max Blumenthal. In Syria's Idlib, one desperate father is making gas masks from paper cups to protect his family from possible chemical attacks. And Max Blumenthal, in my house, one desperate media consumer is making masks out of plastic and paper bags to protect himself against shameless humanitarian interventionist propaganda. Imagine literally going up to a tweet about a person surviving gas attacks and being like, haha, Lamau. Like, the moral equivalent of this would be, like, journalists taking photos of Holocaust survivors, like, emaciated with their ribs poking through, and Max Blumenthal taking a photo of him sucking in his gut, you know? Yeah, dude, sucking in my gut to wait for the American State Department propaganda news reporter to take a photo of me to justify interventionist propaganda. These people are monsters, by the way. They're just fascists for a different government. That's it. That's all they are. It's not complicated. Once you swap out the nouns, which countries do we defend? Which geopolitical interests do we defend? Oh, we've like changed like 6 or 7 nouns, and kablam, we have the exact same politics. Wow. Very complicated. But Kyle Kulinski will defend these people because they don't like America. Nazi Germany didn't like America. Wait, Nazi Germany really liked America and vice versa? Well, not after the war. Not during the wartime. Kyle has said in many videos that Republicans' obsession with CRT is dumb, but he just hadn't made a video about it. It's really funny to me that Kyle Kalinske would engage in the McCarthyite accusation for talking points relating to Syria, something that no Americans care about. But then the critical race theory thing, which is dominating all mainstream media and being used as a weapon to impugn our like current political system, that's not worthy of like the McCarthyite accusation. There are some wildly imbalanced priorities at hand here, you know? No, I don't think Kyle Kalinske hates America. I just think that a lot of people on the left will conflate any criticism of America with like some kind of substantial or meaningful left-wing advocacy, and it's just not true. Do you think Kyle has malicious intent? No, I don't. I don't think CRT is mainstream news just yet, Vosh. It's more of a Fox News thing. The President of the United States was talking about it. It's being discussed. There are senatorial hearings and congressional testimonies being given by the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. There are governors that are passing laws about it. Like, the largest news channels in the country are talking about it. It's on Google Trends. No. Nobody's talking about Syria. Dore took funding from pro-Assad groups. I don't really care about Dore getting $2,500 from pro-Assad groups. Dore couldn't have received a single cent from any politically aligned group, and it wouldn't really change the fact that all of his political interests seem to align with that broader group. And there are plenty of people like Max Blumenthal who do just work for other governments, you know? There's the speculation. It's not so much about like whether you take the money. It's more about how like you act indistinguishably from a person who takes that money, you know? There are some people in the comment section who are calling him out for all this, but I can't help but feel like all of this like gives me it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Kyle is still tiptoeing around this a bit. He continues to say TYT is wrong for attacking Aaron. He will not say Anna specifically is a disgusting person who unnecessarily slandered him. Damn, dude. We got the Jimmy Dore fans in here. You know what the real injustice is? He refused to call that whore who wore the short skirt at her job a disgusting person. Damn, if only. If only it had been harder on the victim of sexual harassment. Jeez. All right, well, I look forward to dealing with whatever drama this spawns. Yeah, I see the Bill Cosby got freed thing, but what am I supposed to say about it? I don't know. He's a rapist? I don't know what I'm supposed to say about it. I don't know how much I can really riff on it. Tariq Nasheed defending Cosby. Tariq Nasheed is pro-rape as long as a black man is doing it. Are you oofing me? It's true. Tariq Nasheed is basically just a Nazi. He's just black. Black Nazi. Have we all not lived long enough to know that such things are possible? Why is he free? I don't fucking know. Rich and famous. Hotep segment? No. What is this? What is this?
What is something that you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Integration was not the answer.
Uh-oh.
Quite frankly, I think integration was one of the worst.
Wait, hold on. This has 300,000 likes. Hold on.
What is something that she'll get a lot of hate for?
From Ebony Cutie. Let's go. Wait, should we log in to see the let's log in to see the comments, I guess, so we can. Oh boy. Saw this shit on Twitter. Well, type in keys like a bird pecking with its finger. Ratio her.
What is something that she'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Okay. All right, let's do it. I'm about to. I have a feeling we're going to get in some really hot takes on this one, so let's get ready for the inevitable cancellation. Okay.
Integration was not the answer. Quite frankly, I think integration was one of the worst things to happen to the black community.
I can't wait to be accused of being a white guy talking over a black woman. Let's go!
Just being real. Because it wasn't even true integration, it was just desegregation. Wasn't the same thing. Integration should have been dismantling both the black and white structures and creating a new structure, integrating two different things into one. Instead, what really happened was they just took down the whites only signs and just put us in their spaces. Not the same thing. And quite frankly, you know, racism and violence aside, segregation didn't sound that bad. Because the idea of an all-black school, all-black pool, all-black movie theater, all-black restaurants, that doesn't sound bad to me. I truly believe the fight was more so for equality of resources, but I don't think we was trying to sit with y'all and sing Kumbaya, but that's just me.
What is something?
All right, we've watched the full TikTok. I don't know how to skip ahead of and go back on TikTok, so we're gonna rewatch it, and now we're gonna pause. Now that we've seen the whole argument, okay? We're gonna say some very heated stuff. Let's get ready.
That she'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud.
Integration was not the answer. Quite frankly, I think integration was one of the worst things to happen to the black community. Just being real. Because it wasn't even true integration, it was just desegregation. Wasn't the same thing. Integration should have been dismantling both the black and white structures and creating a new structure, integrating two different things into one.
Okay, so far we're totally okay. We're 100%. We're dabbing out, okay? So far, so good. It's legitimate criticism, okay? Because after we desegregated America, we did fundamentally preserve the same power structures. All we did is just, well, desegregate them. That's true, you know? It doesn't stop becoming a white supremacist society just because everybody is allowed to be in every part of the white supremacist society. That's true.
Instead, what really happened was they just took down the whites only signs and just put us in their spaces. Not the same thing.
So this is true. This is a correct and fair criticism, okay? Now, I hope we all enjoyed being at the good part of the TikTok.
And quite frankly, you know, racism and violence aside, segregation didn't sound that bad.
So here's the problem. Racism and violence comes part and parcel with segregation, motherfucker. You're not getting out of it, okay? I don't know. What does that mean exactly? Like, you know, if you ignore all the things that are inherent to segregation, then, you know, segregation wasn't that bad, you know? If you ignore all the bad parts of concentration camps, like the starvation, the disease, the deprivation, the lack of access to resources, the guards, the et cetera, then it's really just like, whatever, it's like a summer camp, dude. Like, yeah, bro. Like, haha, what are you talking about? So, the reason why segregated societies are inherently bad is because when you separate people by... So there are a couple reasons for it. So here are some reasons. Let's say we could magically snap all racism and violence out of the world, like systemic violence, you know? Would segregation still be bad? Well, yeah, and here are the reasons why. First and foremost, okay? When you tell people that the reason they are where they are and the reason they're with the people they're with is because they share an ethnicity, you inherently reinforce tribalistic mechanisms that lead to the promotion of more racism. That's why the least racist parts of America are big cities with wide urban populations that have a lot of racial and ethnic diversity. The more you're exposed to different people, the less intolerant you're going to be. but the more ignorant you are of other people, the more intolerant you're going to be. Now, it may be true that we live in a white supremacist society. That is the case. But that does not mean that black people cannot be racially prejudiced themselves. And in fact, quite a lot of them are. There are a lot of black couples who don't want their kids dating white people or whatever. That is racism, and that is bad. And I'm not going to defend that for a goddamn second. I don't care whether or not the society they live in is biased against them. It's still wrong to tell your kids what race they should be allowed to marry. And you know where that attitude is most common? In parts of the South where there are large black populations that live in comparatively rural areas. And likewise, where are the most racist parts of the United States amongst white people? Exact same place. Rural areas with very little contact to other ethnic or racial groups. Segregation inherently creates bigotry, and bigotry inherently creates violence. Because let me tell you this, you cut America down the middle, black half, white half. Here's a question for you. How long do you think it'll take? How many generations before a white America, born and raised to believe they are fundamentally different from the black America, thinks they would rather have access to all of your resources? How long do you think that's going to take? Okay? Really think about that, all right? Because you are guaranteeing racial bias in a society which is ethnically homogenous. It would not take long. Maybe Generation 1 just thinks, oh yeah, we're just doing this because we have different culture, man. Generation 2 does it because they think their culture is better. And Generation 3 does it because they think their race is superior. If it even takes that long, by the way. And then, there comes the violence, baby. And not to even speak of freedom of movement, by the way. Why should a white person not be allowed to go to an area because that area has mostly black people in it? What if that white person really wants to enjoy the food, the culture, the geography, the architecture, the whatever there? We only have one life. You're going to keep a person off parts of the world. You're going to bar them. You're going to draw lines in the sand because of their skin tone. This is woke to you? You're woke. Are you woking me right now? Come on. Anyway. Damn. Thank you, chat, for the studies. Diversity makes people less racist. All people. It says white people here because the study was done on white people, but it's the case for all people. Segregation is bad. It doesn't work. It makes society worse, inherently. And I do not buy this oh, well, if you get rid of the bad parts of it, no, that's a bullshit excuse, okay? How would you feel if a neo-Nazi made this exact same argument? Because I see Nazis make this argument. Dude, I'm not saying that, we should do racism. I'm just saying we have different cultures and, they, white and black people just have different social goals. It's when I debated Eric Stryker and James Alsop, two neo-Nazis, they both said over and over and over again, we're pro-black. We're not anti-black. We just want our very different groups to live separately. If neo-Nazis are making your arguments for you, you're probably making a bad argument, okay? And trust me, they were lying. There's a reason why black separationists like Marcus Garvey have historically worked with the Ku Klux Klan. Anyway, let's continue with this bad TikTok.
Of an all-black school, all-black pool, all-black movie theater, all-black restaurants. That doesn't sound bad to me.
So I'm going to go a little bit hard on her. I don't give a fuck if you don't like being around white people. Suck it up, okay? I would, if a white person told me, dude, we should have white-only buildings because, I don't know, black people are, loud and dumb, I would punch them in the fucking face. Get the fuck over yourself, you conceited, zoomer, reverse racist, horseshoe theory back to ethno-nationalist fucker, okay? That is not a real argument, all right? And segregationism does not become any more valid just because you're doing it from the other side of things. I think she means black-owned. Nah, she said black-only. I don't have a problem with black-owned businesses. I have a problem with black-only businesses. That's a problem.
I truly believe the fight was more so for equality of resources, but I don't think we was trying to sit with y'all to sing Kumbaya. But
so this is why I have no respect for this woman. I truly believe the fight was more for equality of resources and fair treatment, but I don't think we was trying to sit with y'all and sing Kumbaya, but that's just me. She is advocating against the concept of white and black people getting along. I'm sorry, but no, actually, the civil rights movement kind of was about getting white and black people to get along with each other. It was not just about equality of resources. Martin Luther King Jr. was not pro, let's get reparations to the exact amount that we match white economic equality, and then we live separately. The I Have a Dream speech was pretty exclusive, pretty clearly about a desire for people to integrate and live together, okay? It was explicitly about harmonious. You're advocating for separate but equal. But I'm gonna be real with you. Are you ready for it? Sorry, buddy. This is a white supremacist country. For your sake, you shouldn't be advocating for separate but equal. Because if you got what you wanted, you'd get the separate. You would not get the equal. Because all the people who'd be raising their hands to agree with you would be fuckers like Richard Spencer or white nationalists, okay? You would get your separate, but you would not get your equal. And in a couple generations, you wouldn't have shit, all right? Sorry, buddy, but this is a mutually assured destruction situation here, okay? If you want to live in peace, if I want to live in peace, we all got to live together. And I don't care how wokely you phrase ethno-nationalism, it's not getting by me. The people who like this are probably mostly impressionable Zoomers who saw an empowered black woman making, at first, a correct statement about the necessity for more than just desegregation. The first half of this TikTok was completely okay, completely valid. The second half of it, don't be fooled, is just ethno-nationalism, okay? Do not be fooled by it. Do not be tricked, okay? Do not listen to a speech that could have come out of a Ku Klux Klan member's mouth, rephrased with modern Zoomer terminology and coming out of the mouth of a black person and be tricked into it. Stop, okay? Let's take a look at the comments, which most of you can't see because my thing is blocking it. Never thought about this, but I can't even express how accurate this is. Fuck you! Black Wall Street was so successful. Look what happened. They needed black people, but black people didn't need them till they made it that way. Wait! Black Wall Street was a perfect example of why this strategy doesn't work. What happened in Black Wall Street? Segregation festered racial bias among the white population, and because they had more power than it, they burnt it down. This is an example of why it's bad. Wait, this is why you can't have it, okay? Black Wall Street, first of all, Black Wall Street was not black only. If white people wanted to shop there, they could. The Black Wall Street motif was to shop at black-owned businesses so the money stayed in their own community, but they didn't literally prevent white people from staying there. Second of all, it showed why black separatism doesn't work. Unless you're able to dismantle the separationist and the supremacist power structures inherent to white supremacy, you will always be our lessers geopolitically. You will not be able to get around that. I'm sorry. Forming little black encaves only keeps you from doing something about the worsening situation within our own country. Felt black airy things sound lit to me. I don't... What? How many times do I just say this is racist? God, you people are annoying. Was not. We loved each other so much more before they integrated everything. Wait! Let's do it. Let's do a quick game, okay? Here's what we're gonna do, okay? Wait, actually, no. Even better, okay? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna block these comments, and I'm going to read them, and I'm going to read them out loud the way I would expect. There we go. We're blocking them, see? And I'm going to read them out loud, and I'm going to pretend I'm reading from Stormfront, okay? Are you ready? I might have to change the grammar a little bit, because, like, if they type AAVE, then I can't do that. But otherwise, okay? Our people loved each other so much more before they integrated everything. I 100% believe this. The black community was ruined by integration, and years later isn't where it should be. Their community should have stayed separate. You can't force people from completely different backgrounds to just work out together. We weren't trying to sit with them. They just wanted better chairs. Once again, they took it too damn far. Here's one question. I don't mean this in a bad way, but where would non-black POC fit in? 200 likes, 351 comments. Here's the top response. The way they did before, they had their own communities and neighborhoods, and still do. Not just ethno-nationalism for us, but for you too. You don't get to decide. I don't think segregation is bad, especially in our generation. I got in trouble in my classroom for this idea. Why would black people want to go into white places when nothing but segregation was different? We didn't want to sit with them. We just wanted to be treated fairly. Is this any different from like reading a Stormfront thread? This is literally identical. But these are all highly liked comments from, like, I don't know, well, they're all women. Mostly black. Racism doesn't stop being racism just because it comes from people who are disadvantaged, okay? In fact, this is especially sinister because these people are useful idiots for neo-Nazis, all right? Trust me, when white nationalists look at threads like this, they drool and they rub their hands together because you reverse woke ethno-nationalist types are prime fuel for them, okay? Well, have fun, I guess. I want to live for a world where a black person saying they don't want to live around white people gets treated exactly the same way as a white person saying they don't want to live around black people. I hate all of you. I don't care anymore. When I was young and cucked, I used to believe that that being like a minority or being like a disadvantaged person meant that you got to, like, you know, be a little bit bigoted against like the majority population. I don't believe that anymore. I sincerely hate that now, okay? Because you all took it way too far. I thought it was like, oh, a little bit of mild antipathy towards white people, not I am literally going to advocate for ethno-states because I get irritated at having to go to the school and hear white people's opinions, okay? Oh, by the way, it's time for the ultimate black pill, all right? Having been online and having engaged in discourse for a long time, here's the ultimate everyone, clippers, get ready, okay? Black people complain about white people being super obnoxious in public and like hate having to deal with them and shit. Are you ready for the ultimate Uno card? You're all annoying. All people are annoying. Get the fuck over yourselves. You're biased towards tolerating the types of annoying behavior that are normalized in your culture and disliking the annoying behavior in other cultures because you're a biased person with a limited framework. And white people do the same shit to you, but when they do it, we call it racist, and when you do it, we laugh it off, okay? You need to cut that shit out, all right? Because there are tons of white people who are really fucking annoying, but then when a black person is annoying, they'll make a bunch of really weird comments about black people's race and their skin tone. And likewise, vice versa with black people. But when black people say that shit about white people, then it's like, oh, haha, whatever. But you don't get to whatever if it leads to ethno-nationalism. So chill out, okay? Chill! What's the minimum amount of blackness you need to have to go to these communities? How would they judge us? There were people who were mixed race asking in the comments, and believe it or not, those questions were answered with pretty ethno-nationalist results, you know? Oh, if you're mixed race, whatever, you're probably like white passing, you know? One drop rule shit, you know, like whatever you look like, you know? Oh yeah, you're white passing, you have too much privilege to even weigh in on this. Like shit like that, you know, just utterly disgusting and validating nonsense. Hey, and if you enjoy my hot takes, then you should go to @VoshVideo on TikTok. What are you people doing? We're almost at 200,000 followers. Look at that. Almost at 200K followers. Look at these. Look at this hot title. Barbie can't fart in her own house. Wow. I don't know what that one's about because I don't manage my TikTok. Get over. Make the number bigger. TikTok activism. Nice. Okay. Guys, we have a bit of a problem. I still feel sick. I didn't expect the Kyle Kalinske thing to take 2 hours. I seriously didn't expect that. Oh, somebody linked a Coconut Island comic. This is cute. I'm already here. Wow, that's a lot of coconuts. We may actually survive this. Who said we? Oh, that's good. By the way, I like the fact, by the way, that in the initial moral dilemma that I presented, I was opposed to the behavior of coconut hoarding, but in every drawing and comic of this, I am the coconut hoarder. I really appreciate that, you know? Like I was giving the example as though I was defending the coercive behavior. Yeah, Shadow Vaush. Very, very good. Yeah, it's a very cute art style. You should be the one landing on the island. Well, I did land on the island. I woke up first. Very good. I think I might have to respond to donations next stream. Fuck. Yeah, I think I have to respond to them next stream. I know. I love you guys. I'm sorry. I think I should be able to stream tomorrow. We'll have to see. Yeah. Hey, Ryan, you're seeing this, right? Oh, I should just be able to tell you because I hate typing it because I'm super fucking lazy. We need to talk, you and me and Tempest soon, which we'll do soon. Wait, Tempest is here too. You're all here. We'll do that soon. I've just felt so shit lately. For this, okay, the Kyle Kalinske segment will be the first one on our off channel because it's like 2 hours long. And it's very rambling. We'll throw that on the off channel. And we'll put the TikTok response in the main channel. And there's plenty of other stuff I wanted to comment on. I just didn't expect the Kyle Kalinske thing to happen, you know? Yeah, okay, let's see who we're gonna raid. Dude, I hate woke racism so much. Fuck me. Stop! Do I follow Aristocracy on Twitch? Oh no, I actually don't. Follow.
Okay. I got it.
It's got lots of pepperoni and the crust is brown.
You know, actually, no, we're going to raid someone we haven't raided before. We're going to raid Sansol is who we're going to raid, okay? Go say hi. This will be the largest audience they've ever had, I'm pretty sure. Go say hi. Go say hi. It's more fun when you raid a new channel anyway. It's more unexpected, you know? They Wait, she expects the raid? Don't promise for me. That's on you. No. This is punishment. Nope. No. You do not get to say. You don't preempt the raids. I didn't? Then who did? You people suck. It's Sansol. It's already loaded. Nope, sorry, chat. That's on you. Chad, that's 100% on you, okay? Now I have to fucking apologize to her. God damn it. Goodbye.